Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there. Sure. Yeah. Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com. Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about Rocket Money. It's the start of a new year. It's the perfect time to get organized, set your goals, prioritize what matters most. And for me, top priority is getting myself together here. Financial wellness, doing that, which that feels important, just feels like adult stuff that you have to do. And thanks to Rocket Money, my goals feel achievable now. They show me all my subscriptions in one place, help me easily cancel ones I forgot that I've been paying for, which happened to me, absolutely happened to me. For years, I was paying for something. I was like, what is going on here? Rocket Money found it and saved me lots of money since then, because it's been a while. So they did a great job here. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder today. That's rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder. rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Welch's can't make everything make sense. Like why your mom still listens to the radio or what she meant when she sent that emoji. But a zero sugar drink that's still full of fruit flavor, we made that make sense. And strawberry, passion fruit, Concord grape, and more. You gotta sip it to get it. New Welch's Zero Sugar. Let's fruit stuff up.
This week, in Wilmington, Delaware, a dirty and disturbing tale surfaces after a young woman disappears, leaving police to question her married boyfriend and all of his other girlfriends. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us on another wild, crazy edition of Small Town Murder. We got a weird one for you this week.
Great.
It's a murderer, so you know, real jerk, I gotta say.
That's weird.
He's a real jerk face. Let's just say that about him. Not a great guy. So we'll get into all of that here. First, before we do, though, head to shutupandgivememurder.com. Get your tickets for live shows because they are out there. They're all for sale for 2024. A couple of them are sold out already, including one in November. So get your tickets right now. April 5th, Sacramento. You are up first. April 6th, San Francisco. Get your tickets. Still some tickets remaining at those venues. Yeah. Boston, New York, those are selling quick in December, so get those as well. So get in there right now and get your tickets. Minneapolis, be our biggest show ever.
You bet.
You can do it, and we are excited because we love Minneapolis, so that'll be fun. That's our biggest venue we could that we've had so far. So we're excited to do that. Can't wait. Shutupandgivememurder.com. Also, patreon.com/crimeinsports. That'll get you all your bonus stuff there. Anybody $5 a month or above, a mere a mere cup of coffee.
Don't call it cheap. It's a bargain.
It's a damn bargain. I'm telling you right now. You get a couple hundred back episodes immediately and then new ones every other week. One Crime and Sports, one Small Town Murder.
Yeah.
And you get it all, everybody. This week, what we're going to talk about for Crime and Sports.
Yeah.
You don't have to really like sports. This is just interesting. In-ring boxing deaths, part 2. So this is just, what's worse than getting beaten to death? That sounds bad.
Wow.
Get beat while thousands of people cheer it on. Sounds worse.
The other guy.
So that's really bad. Then for Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about a guy with a cult. Just a man with a cult. He was known as the East Coast Charles Manson back in the late 60s and early 70s. The Mel Lyman cult. It got real weird and then got it's even weirder when they changed religions and everything. It's very strange. That is patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all of that. And if you want to hear more, listen to Crime and Sports, first of all. Telling you, well, this is a plea to listen to Crime and Sports. It's not, you don't have to love sports at all to listen to it. It's a comedy show about an idiot who has it all and says, nope, I'll throw it right in the garbage. That's a great story, whether you like sports or not, I'm telling you. And then, of course, listen to Your Stupid Opinions, our show where we take reviews of everything and anything from around the internet and talk about them. And it's just the funniest show you're ever going to hear. So check that out as well and all of that good stuff. That said, disclaimer time.
Oh, boy.
This is a comedy show.
It is.
It's a comedy show. We're comedians. We're stand-up comics, so we're going to make jokes at things.
For sure.
The thing is, though, there's a lot of stuff to make jokes about that isn't, you think, oh, it's a murder story. How are you going to make jokes? Well, there's plenty of stuff around that to make jokes. Maybe there's a bumbling police force that doesn't know how to do their jobs. Maybe there's a murderer who picks a really dumb plan to get away with a murder.
Even more ridiculous.
We have nothing else. We have no recourse. We're not lawyers. We can't put the guy in jail, but what we can do is make fun of him unmercifully. So that's what there is to that. So it's not as bad as you think it is. Put it that way. That's Small Town Murder. It's not as bad as you think it is. So I'm telling you, one thing we don't do, what we go out of our way not to do, is we don't make fun of the victims or the victims' families.
Why is that, James?
Because we're assholes.
Yeah, but
we're not scumbags.
There
that's
you
how
have
that
it.
goes. So that's our general philosophy.
Run
if you
with
like
us,
that, you're going to like the show. If you think true crime and comedy should never, ever go together, you might not like the show. But if you don't, you've been warned, so no bitching later. That's how this works. That said,
20's new every week. Goodbye.
That's what I'm talking about. That said, I think it's time, everybody. I think it's time to sit back. Let's all clear the lungs, arms to the sky, and let's all shout. Shut up and give me murder. Let's do this, everybody. What do you say? Let's go on a trip, shall we?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. We are going all the way to Delaware this week.
A
state that you don't really have any preconceived notions of.
You overlook it a lot. You forget about it a lot.
Yeah. If I said name all 50 states, there's a couple you might leave out, and one of them's probably Delaware.
Yeah.
There's a couple. Delaware, maybe, see the Dakotas. If you think of one,
Vermont.
you'll think of the other.
Yeah.
You might miss a Vermont or a New Hampshire, possibly.
You might go Virginia. Wait, is that Westford? Is that only one? I don't know how many there are.
Damn Rhode Island, son of a bitch.
Are there 2 Virginias?
Shit, this is terrible.
Is there a north?
God damn it. Mississippi. I got Alabama. I got Louisiana.
Right. I got Missouri.
That was how it would work. So this is Wilmington, Delaware. It's in northern Delaware. About 52 minutes to Dover, which is, they believe that's the capital there.
That's the capital,
40 minutes to Philly. So, it's right there to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And about 15 minutes away to Claymont, which was our last Delaware episode, which was episode 422. Dead in a Ditch was the name of that one. That was a weird, a good express.
Be a lot of these.
It was a good express episode, though, the way it was. I remember
that. Could be
a
good chunk of these shows.
There's a lot of people dead in ditches here. We have a much more dramatic way of body disposal this week, so it's crazy. Okay. But Delaware is a small state, so everything is pretty close. An hour away in Delaware is like, holy shit, that's all the way across the state.
Yeah, basically everything north of Maryland is fucking teeny tiny.
It's a couple of panhandles is how Delaware works, how it's set up. This is Newcastle County, area code 302. Several mottos here for this town here. Number 1, the corporate capital of the world. If you know anything about corporations, they all file for incorporation in Delaware. There's certain laws there that are very advantageous to corporations.
Taxes.
So I used to serve papers, and all these corporations all had their main address as Delaware. That's every
Somebody
corporation.
bought a cheap shit house there and set up shop there.
There's no house. It's just that's where they're set up. There's not even.
But they
got to
have an address there, right?
A P.O. box, I think, is all you really need. It's just you have to incorporate in Delaware, so it's really silly. Okay. Also, in the middle of it all is another one. Yeah. In the middle of it all of what? That could be anything. That could be bad. That? I don't know.
That's a motto?
Yeah, in the middle of it all.
No, you're on the edge.
You're on the edge, but I mean, in the middle of Delaware? Is that what you're trying to brag about? What are we talking about here? And then the third one is, this doesn't seem like something you'd want to put on the sign. You know, this is something you'd want to hide, I think. It could be, and I bet Flint, Michigan would probably argue with them. Quote, the chemical capital of the world. So is that something you want to brag about?
I don't know. Are 3M and DuPont there? Is that what it is?
Our drinking water is terrible. Come on in.
Tainted. Come try it. Yeah.
History of this town. We'll go through this pretty quick here. In 1868, so this is after the Civil War here, Wilmington was producing more iron ships than the rest of the country combined.
Wow.
So they were really doing that. Also ranked first in production of gunpowder. So all the ships and gunpowder came from Wilmington, Delaware in the 1860s. And second in carriages and leather production as well. So
is that right?
They were pumping stuff out after the Civil War here. Absolutely. Wow. And so all of this was great for their economy during the Civil War. They were making all this shit. Fast forward to the 1900s here, the 1980s, there's a lot of office construction and job growth and shit, which happened because of the arrival of national banks and financial institutions because of the 1981 Financial Center Development Act, which loosened up the laws governing banks operating within the state. So that's how you ended up with, like, savings and loans and, like, you know, bank failures and all that kind of stuff. They're just do whatever you want. And then, just shockingly, banks are greedy, and they fucked up. That's weird, right? Strange. They did it again in 86, too.
I can think of another time.
Yeah. Lots of times that's happening here. But all sorts of banks are headquartered here. So reviews of this town, let's find out what other people think, because we don't spend much time in Wilmington, Delaware.
Never been.
Don't take our word for it. Let's take other people's words for it here. 4 stars, small city, but lots of things to do. Some landmarks and amazing ethnic restaurants make days worth it in Wilmington. From what I understand, there's a lot of good like Italian joints here, too.
Is that right?
Pretty big Italian community here. 2 stars, I've lived in Delaware my entire life. Wow, bouncing around that tiny state. Right? Wow. It is extremely dangerous and not good for raising a family. Not really what you think of when you think of Delaware. Don't go to Delaware. Jesus, your kids will get shot.
That wasn't the second sentence I was expecting after I've lived here my whole life.
Yeah, it's awful.
Why haven't you left, man?
There's almost no social or financial mobility. Well, there you go. Yeah. That's why they haven't left. They're stuck due to costs. These schools here are good considering how underfunded they are. The teachers here go above and beyond to try and offer the best education they can. Wilmington is expensive to live in, although the houses are in poor condition and the neighborhoods are dangerous. It's dangerous and it's in poor condition, but good news is it's overpriced. So something for everybody.
Good news is I can't afford it.
Yeah, good news is you can't afford to be there anyway, so fuck it. Wilmington is very small, so commute time is short and the city is extremely diverse. Overall, a bad city that doesn't fund itself and offers no stability. Okay, and then finally, 1 star. Everyone here is miserable and there's nothing to do 90% of the year. The roads are congested and the area is being overdeveloped. There you go.
Nothing to do 90%.
90%. There's a sliver of hope in the maybe mid-August, really. But outside of that, you're fucked. You're not getting anything. People here, 70,926 currently here. So it's grown.
Okay, that's a lot.
It's grown, definitely more than when our murder took place. More females than males by a good range. Median age is 36.3, so right around the national average. Very low marriage rate here. It's only 30%. It's normally 50%. 39.6% of people have children but are single. It's normally 10%.
That's
so a lot. It's a lot. I don't know what's going on at all in the whole town here. We have race of this town: 28.3% white, 57.2% black, 1.5% Asian, 0.2% Native American, and 10.8% Hispanic. You don't think of a lot of Native Americans hanging out in Delaware, really.
Not many, no.
It's not where you'd imagine.
Or Hispanic either.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's still...
I don't see authentic Mexican food being from Delaware.
Apparently, there's good ethnic food here.
I'll bet there is, yeah. I'll bet there is.
Religion, 46.9% religious, so just under the average, and they're spread around pretty good, but as you'd imagine, Catholics are going to take the most here. Catholics are the Baptists of the North. Even though Delaware isn't really that far north, it's still...
Yeah, it's north enough.
It's in the northeastern area, I would say, more than like if you'd go down to Maryland, then you're getting mid-Atlantic.
Yeah.
So there's that. In this county here, let's see in the town, the unemployment rate is 10.3%, though. That is huge.
Why?
It is under 4% in the rest of the country.
Yeah, what's happening there?
I think all the jobs are like corporate jobs. So I think if there's not a lot of blue collar work, not a lot of leather and carriage making going on anymore here.
True. Yeah. So much for all those fucking corporations.
Yeah, I think it's tough there.
I think it is just P.O. boxes, James.
Maybe it is. Median household income here is $49,354 a year, which is about $20,000.
And there's no money to be had anyway.
The national average here. Yeah, absolutely. And the cost of living, 100 is average. Here it's 104. So it's a little bit high.
Wilmington blows.
It doesn't sound great. Is lower. Median home cost $273,100 here. Okay. So if we've convinced you, damn it.
I don't know how.
The only place you can live is, wait till you hear the crime numbers, is Wilmington, Delaware. We have for you the Wilmington, Delaware Real Estate Report. Your average two-bedroom rental here is about $1,280 a month, so above the national average a bit. Yeah. Here's a two-bedroom, two-bath, 1,200 square foot weird house. It's this little house. The porch has carpet on it, so you don't see a lot of carpeted front porches for obvious reasons.
Weather and such.
You use the front porch to get the shit off your shoes before you. They're like, nope, just wipe it right on the carpet there. So I don't know how that works. The inside, too, the kitchen's brand new. Looks like they just redid it HGTV style. Yeah. Rest of the house is from 1987. So it's a very strange house. Yeah. Old, dingy carpet.
You never heard kitchens sell homes, James?
That's it. It's just that's what they
Put
heard.
Put a bow on this piece of shit, yeah.
Fuck, it's so weird. $85,000 for it, though. So,
wow.
If you need a place to live, that's affordable. Here's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,375 square foot house. It's pretty cool. The house is cool, but it's not. You don't get the whole house. It's a unit in an old Victorian row house.
Oh, cool.
So it's like a floor you probably get. It's, 1,375 square feet. It's 1900 they built this house. It's one of those. It's a cool-looking house. There's a big, giant fireplace in the middle of the room, which is a weird feature. It's pretty cool. $399,000 for that, though.
Say again how many square feet?
1,375.
For an awful lot of money.
For an awful lot of money, because you're in, I guess you can walk to getting shot easier, I suppose. I don't know.
Shit.
I don't even care. Here's an 8-bedroom, 7-bath, 11,500 square foot.
Oh, castle.
Gigantic place, 4.71 acres, built in 1875.
Awesome.
It's got huge porches wrapping around the house. It's obviously made to be like a bed and breakfast or an inn or something like that. Like it just screams that. Like, please serve mediocre eggs here to couples who are forcing socialization upon each other.
Serve powdered eggs and blueberries in the morning.
Do it, please. That's it. It's got a tennis court and a basketball court and all kinds of shit like that. $1,950,000 though for that. You're going to pay for it.
How many times do you got to rent it out to pay for that?
A lot, probably.
Christ.
And a lot of those 8 bedrooms have to get rented out.
Yeah.
Things to do here we'll go over quickly. Here's the main thing of town, and this is a big deal. Apparently, Bob Marley had a place here for a while.
Okay.
So they fucking love Bob Marley here, which is fine. I'm happy with that. It's,
Did he own the inn?
Maybe. Bob Marley's one of those people that kind of like hits a lot of areas in the Venn diagram.
Checks a lot of boxes.
It's a lot of people. It crosses over to a lot of different people's genres. Like, I like death metal. I only like Norwegian death metal. What about Bob Marley? Oh, he's cool too. I like Bob Marley.
I like him a lot.
Anything. You could put any people who like, I like this. Oh, classical. Oh, Marley's good too, though. Yeah, I shot the sheriff. I'll listen to that. So, 3 Little Birds. Put it on. They have the People's.
It's not wrong.
It's fucking great. It's got 100 good songs.
You could put a Spotify Bob Marley song channel on while you're in the pool. Press play and never even fuck with it. And it always hits.
No one will complain.
It always slaps.
And Bob Marley will come up later on in this episode as well.
Great.
He'll be making an appearance doing a song, as we know. So they have the People's Fest tribute to Bob Marley.
Okay.
The 29th annual People's Fest. This year will be 30 in 2024.
Yeah.
So they do it at the Tubman Garrett Riverfront Park. And it says, the spirit of the People's Festival was built upon unity, one love, and justice. Good vibes are what you can expect at the People's Festival. There's something for everyone here. I went one time and saw the Wailers play, which is his band, there was not one fight in the whole club. Like, it was just the nicest people, clouds of weed smoke outside. They were offering everybody to come on their bus and smoke with them and shit. Like,
it just feels very fucking, who cares about anything? Let's just smile today.
You can't hear, let's get together and feel all right, and punch someone in the face. It's just weird. It's just a strange thing to do. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not feel my fist. It's not It's not feel all pain. It's fucking feel all right.
You feel all right. So there's that, and there's also the Fairy Fest.
Okay.
Has nothing to do with Bob Marley, but it's just children and adults enjoy live performances by the area's premier dance and theater companies with outdoor games. It's just that you go and people pretend to be fairies. They do like a fairy show for you.
Okay.
I don't know what that's all about exactly. We could make some really lowbrow
There's
jokes.
There's plenty of really dumb jokes.
We're going to skip them. You get them.
I don't care.
You understand. Is it this or that? Yeah, we know. Okay.
Write your own.
Write your own. If you can write your own, we're skipping them because we're comedians.
What do I need to do?
People will often ask us too, like, they missed that obvious joke, and I go, no, we didn't miss it. We chose not to say it because we're professional comedians. If you thought of it, we're not going to say it because you're not a professional comedian.
Sometimes I have intrusive thoughts that are just like, say the dumb thing and get James's reaction.
Yeah.
And then I do it.
Well, there's those, obviously. Well, sometimes they're funny, but this would be not funny.
No, this would just be hurtful.
It'd just be dumb.
What's the point?
It'd just be too dumb and easy. I feel like I'm in the 4th grade. So crime rate in this town, we're interested in here. Property crime, almost twice the average.
Holy.
That's not good there. It's not good. Well, nothing yet. Violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and, of course, assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime, about 3 times the average rate.
Triple. Holy shit.
Wilmington is real as fuck, everybody.
They need to change the
watch
name.
Out.
It sounds folksy and homesy.
Yeah, watch out, motherfucker. So
there's homes around here. Yeah.
Let's talk about some murder that did not happen on the street in a horrible whatever. Let's talk about this, and I got to give credit where credit's due, obviously. The Philadelphia Daily News, a writer named Jim Nolan, did an ongoing huge series on this case and really had a lot of info that's essential to this. Yeah. Jim pulled it off here.
Jim.
Got to give credit where credit's due when somebody does a good job of reporting. Yeah. So let's start out in July, early July, about July 4th weekend-ish, 1996, okay?
Yeah.
So back in time a little bit here, 1996. There's some fishermen who are out. They're from Harrisburg, and they went out that weekend to, fish. People go out there and fish, and there's a lot of fish out there, deep sea stuff. Mm-hmm. So they pull along. They find a giant cooler floating.
God damn it!
Huge cooler, floating.
It's not full of fish.
It's just floating in the ocean.
Yeah, packed full of their allowed take for the day.
It's just cold cuts and cold beer with ice in it, and
fuck
sodas.
Fish. Look at this.
Wow, this is lunch for 20 people. This is terrific. It's a 5-foot-long igloo cooler.
Oh, those are expensive, too.
Yeah, real expensive. You see those. Yeah. So they pulled up alongside it and hauled it on in. It's empty. They pull it in.
That's great.
It's pretty, there's nothing there. The top was missing, so they could tell there was nothing in it from the start. There is a weird hole in the side of it, like a bullet hole almost. Oh. Looks like a bullet hole, but can't be positive in the side of it. But they said, shit, it's better. You can still keep fish in it. You can put a bunch of ice in it and put fish under it.
Yeah.
It's a big 5-gallon tub at this point.
Can't really plug that hole so as the ice melts, we're getting water on the boat. But
it's like it's on the side, though, so you would have to put it up real high for it to leak out of that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so they're like, fuck it, I'm keeping this cooler.
Keeping the container, yeah.
Yes, and they hang on to that cooler for a while now. So that said, keep that in mind, and let's go back in time a little bit here.
Okay.
I'm going to read a little bit about Wilmington, just a paragraph that this Jim Nolan wrote here, because it explains a lot of this case here, just in the way the city's set up. It says, quote, at the entrance to town on Delaware Avenue, it announces as a place to be somebody. So that's what it says in Wilmington. That's another motto of theirs, a place to be somebody. Yeah. So 4 mottos. Wilmington is such a small town that just about everyone has to be somebody for that place to function. So, okay.
Well, tell that to 10% that ain't working, man.
No shit. The DuPont company and the banking industries drawn to Delaware's corporation-friendly tax and finance laws employ much of the workforce along with its many state government offices. Yeah. There are a few Irish bars of note where everyone seems to drink, a few good Italian restaurants where they dine, and no more than a couple of miles separates the $500,000 homes of the state's movers and shakers. Keep in mind, this is written in 1996. Right. So, and from the rundown row houses that feed the public schools and are represented in disproportionate numbers in the state criminal justice system.
Jesus.
So it's a small town. Runs on a lot of it runs on favors, and I know this guy and went to school with that guy.
Sure.
These small cities are very much like that because it's just like a small town jacked up on HGH,
But he also describes it as like have everythings and have nothings.
Yes, it's a big city that they crammed into a small town. It's a small town, but it has all the trappings of all that kind of thing. So let's talk about some people first here.
Okay,
here. Let's talk about, first of all, a young lady. Let's talk about Anne Marie Fahey, Fahey, Fahey.
Yep.
She's born in 1966 from Wilmington. Her family's kind of working class Irish family. That's where she comes from.
Yeah.
She's the youngest of 6 kids.
Jesus.
Yeah, all born within 12 years of each other, too.
Oh man.
So
she's the youngest?
She's the youngest, yeah.
She's the last one, so they've been fucking since 54.
And the oldest is only 12.
Jesus.
Imagine having 6 kids, 12 and under. That sounds insane. And one of them's a baby? Fuck that. I don't think so. So she's the baby of the family, and people pay attention to her, and they dote on her. The problem is, when she's about 7, her mother is diagnosed with cancer and dies when she's 8.
What? So, got her fast.
Yeah, fast.
Jesus.
Yeah. This is brutal. And we're talking early 70s. So, I mean, cancer treatments are night and day to what they were in 1973.
Yeah.
It's 50 years
But
ago.
an aggressive form, and you can't even process that mom has it by the time she's gone.
That's too little.
Crazy. Yeah.
Her father was a heavy drinker, which did not help any of this.
How's his cirrhosis doing?
It's doing great. So now when you're not only just you like to drink anyway, but then your wife dies, your young wife dies of cancer, and you're left with 6 children. Anyone will hit the bottle, I think,
I'll
at
be
that
drinking.
point.
You betcha.
So he drank very heavily. He used to be an insurance salesman, and he was considered an outgoing guy, but he just fell down this spiral of just depression and grief, and drank and got mired in debt. Bet. Just was a mess. The electricity would get cut off all the time.
Oh, no.
Anne would shower at school because they wouldn't have like stuff she needed at home to shower and stuff like that. Her father ended up just moving away at some point.
Hold.
Yeah, just bye, taking off. Some of the kids were adults.
Yeah.
I mean,
take care of them, would you?
I raised half of them. That's enough.
Yeah.
I'm out.
I did my portion. Your mom was supposed to do her portion, but she's not here, so.
But if the electricity is getting cut off and she has to shower at school, what's the difference anyway? She might as well find somewhere else to live.
You're not wrong.
So she stayed with friends for a while.
Yeah.
People felt bad for her. Her friends' parents, they'd take her in. And then she ended up staying with her older brothers, Kevin and Robert Jr. So she ended up with family at least. And the funny thing is, later on, that's a really hard childhood.
Shit. Yeah.
I mean, dead mother, very poor.
Drunk
dad taking off on you, getting passed around from place to place. And that's hard. She never really told anybody about it when she was an adult.
Wow.
A lot of people that's all they would talk about. And with her friends didn't even know it, like her later on friends.
Some people just assume that everybody's like this, too.
Yeah, and some people try to put it out of their minds to march forward, and they don't want to keep going over it. And then some people like, to wallow in things, or they still need to process it. I don't know.
Right.
So a friend of hers said Annie never wanted anybody to know about her pain. A lot of friends told me they had no idea about Annie's rough childhood. That's just how she was.
There's also people that are just like, it's none of your fucking business.
Yeah, that's the other thing, too. It just wasn't what she wanted to talk about. I don't know.
Yeah, and talking about it, what's that going to do? It's not going to fix it.
That's the other thing. Yeah, and maybe she already had talked about it. Now she's past it and doesn't want to talk about it anymore.
So. Yeah.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well.
Right.
And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
So she reconciles with her father in 1984.
Wow.
When she's, about 18 years old, they reconcile, and then 2 years later, he dies of leukemia.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's rough. So by the time she's 20, both parents are dead. Mm-hmm. And
do you think he had it, and that's why she chose? Maybe.
I mean, that's possible. He might have gotten sick, and he told her about it, and then she said, "Well, bygones be bygones. At this point, what are we gonna? How long are we gonna keep this? Into the grave? We're gonna keep this going." Right. So she graduated from Wesley College in Dover.
Wow.
And she had, she went to Spain. She spent a semester in Spain while in college. So she's trying to get outside of her, comfort zone and her world.
Yeah.
And she grows up, too. She's pretty, 5'10".
Hell yeah.
Nice looking young lady, too, and confident and smart. And so, she's doing fine. She gets a degree in international relations. Which, both of us, obviously, we obviously both have a degree in international relations, but most, a lot of people don't, is the thing.
I fucked a Russian girl once. Does that count?
I think so, yeah. That's a degree in it, yeah. She wasn't even actually, just her parents were Russian. She wasn't.
She's not even, she's never seen it.
She was from Texas, but that's beside the point. So she went to Washington, D.C., wanting to become a diplomat. That was her goal. So in 1991, though, a friend of hers tells her that her boss, who's a Delaware congressman named Tom Carper, was looking for a receptionist. So she said, okay, that's, in a politician's office. That's in politics. Why not? I'll take the job. Sure. So she takes that job. Then Carper gets elected governor of Delaware in 1992.
Oh, wow. And she's been there since day one.
Not bad. So she ended up going to Wilmington. I guess Wilmington's the capital of Delaware, by the way, not Dover.
Is it?
I always thought it was Dover for some reason.
I did
but it's
too.
Wilmington, because that's where all the state capital shit is. So she comes home. She goes to Wilmington to work for his office. And it's pretty cool, she thinks. She's doing the scheduling for the governor.
Right.
So, I mean, that's pretty important in this town.
Sure in the fuck.
Big deal. Let's introduce another person here into this whole mix here. This is Tom Capano, C-A-P-N-A-O, or A-N-O, sorry, Tom Capano. He's born in 1949, so 17 years older than her. He's from a pretty good family here. We'll talk about his family. Money-wise, they're considered pretty good here. Right. His parents are very supportive. His mother was alive through his childhood, all sorts of things like that. His father was a carpenter. His father had come to this country in 1923 from Calabria, Italy. And when he was in his early 30s, his father, that's when Tom was born here, he ended up becoming partners with another Wilmington contractor and formed the Consolidated Construction Company.
Yep.
Which turns out to be a fucking moneymaker.
You bet.
A real moneymaker.
Especially in a town that's growing and you can just start putting cabinets in everything.
Well, and World War II is about to come up too. So,
there's that too.
If you have any kind of factory, you're getting fat government contracts to make something. You know what I mean? So that's a great thing for them. So he eventually, Tom's dad, eventually buys out his partner and becomes one of the biggest builders in the States, customizing in custom homes, specializing in custom homes. So they have money. They do very well. Dad builds a huge colonial mansion here in an area called Brandywine 100, which is a very exclusive area in Wilmington.
Oh, I knew just by the sound. You didn't
Brandywine 100.
You didn't have to say anything more.
That could either be a really affluent neighborhood or the projects. Brandywine 100, motherfucker, what's up?
Cabrini Green sounds nice.
Yeah, that sounds better than Brandywine 100. That sounds like,
sounds like 100 row houses that are all
Brandywine 100. It's 100 project buildings. I think Nas used to rap about that in the 90s, I believe, before they tore Queensbridge down.
Or it's 100 acres of nothing but white people. Very affluent, rich, boat-owning white people.
Fuck yeah. So dad is Louis Capano, and he spoiled the kids. They all went to all the top Catholic schools in the area. They went to their summers at the Jersey Shore, as the law requires Italians to do once in a while. We can't help it. We're told. If you go a certain amount, they'll just knock on your door and be like, how many years since you've been to the Jersey Shore? And we're like, okay, we're packing. Okay, we're getting the floaties. All right, leave us the fuck alone.
We're coming every 3 years.
We're coming. Okay, I went when I was a kid.
Spring or summer, take your pick.
I went when I was a kid. It's plenty of time. That's where we went. So everybody said Thomas was his father's favorite also. So he's the favorite son of the rich, successful dad here.
Yeah.
He did very well in school. He's a very hardworking guy, Tom. He did great in school. His brothers didn't do as well as him in school. His brothers were,
right?
Yeah, they were more of like the kind of, from what I gather, the typical kind of rich kids where they're like, it doesn't matter. I'm like, what the fuck do I need to? What do I need to get A's for? I can always go work for my dad. Always go be some dipshit vice president of his company and make $100,000 a year. And that's what they thought. So he, though, wanted something more, and Tom was very much into, academics and things like that. He also was a star football player, and he was on the track team as well. So doing very well for himself. His father was so proud of him, he bought him a brand new sports car as well.
What kind?
Oh, yeah. Don't know. We don't know that, but we know
it's just
something expensive, and this was in the early 70s, so something fucking awesome.
Something with a kick-ass rear-wheel drive.
CUDA or like a Vet.
Big motor rear-wheel drive, blower, scoop,
something
loud, fucking loud. That's
something we'd really like. A Camaro or something cool.
Something you can't hear the stereo over at about 5,000 RPMs.
Yeah. Also, Tom completes undergraduate and gets his law school degree at Boston College in 1974.
Wow.
So, yeah, doing great.
He's doing it.
He really is. A former teacher of his said, quote, he was a shining star. Oh, boy. And not only that, he had a girlfriend in high school and ended up marrying his high school sweetheart as well.
Why the fuck not? Why not
Absolutely.
be so perfect?
Her name, Kay Ryan.
Kay.
Which, Kay Ryan, I know it's not, but it might as well be Diane Keaton's character name in The Godfather. Like, it's so typical. Like, this skinny's going to go out there and be like, I got to find a nice, I don't want freckles. I don't know what it is. Like, I'm going to find me a nice Irish girl.
Yeah.
It's such a strange thing that we have about that. So, I'm married to an Irish girl with freckles, so I understand.
That's
the way it is. It just happens. We don't know why. So, they get married out of school, and he starts his law career here.
Yeah.
First, he's a public defender, which a lot of lawyers are public defenders at first because it's a good way to get experience, and they'll hire you if you're fresh out of law school. So,
and it looks fucking great on a resume.
Yeah, it looks good, and it throws you right into the deep end of the legal system if you want to deal with criminal law. Then he becomes a prosecutor after that.
Switches teams.
Yeah, which a lot of people do because once you get, and then what they do, the weird part is they start out in the public defender's office, then they become prosecutors for 15 years, then they quit that office and get a high-paying defense job.
One of those pay lawyer jobs. Yeah,
they defend like RICO cases for drug dealers and shit after that because they know the whole system and they're
it's guaranteed money
after. Yeah. Oh, that's where the money is. That's what I mean. Once they're like 50, they're like, okay, now I got to make money. I've done all this. Now let's get cracking. I want to buy a beach house now. This is ridiculous. I did a lot of school. So they moved, the parents, or him and his wife Kay, moved into the Bishop of Wilmington's former house. So
the Catholic bishop?
The Catholic Bishop of Wilmington. So that's probably a nice house, and I'd imagine there's a couple of gold fixtures in it once in a while, probably.
You're probably right, yeah.
A ruby here or there, maybe.
There's a thing or two that's gaudy, yeah.
Absolutely. And also, right across the street is the former governor. That's his house across the street. So that's nice. It's a affluent neighborhood. Him and his wife have 4 daughters together.
4 daughters?
4 daughters, cranking them out.
What
one
a
after
curse.
the other. He just kept, it's like, he's rolling the dice every time.
Yeah.
And, okay, another one. Okay, that's fine.
Damn it.
Two's fine. And we're not saying you don't want any daughters, but you don't want 4 of anything. I wouldn't want 4 boys
I wouldn't want 4
girls.
Sons, no.
Fuck no. 4 sons? Are you kidding me? No.
Nothing works in this house.
I'd keep them in a pit. Like under the house. That's where I keep 4 sons.
Why do none of the door handles work?
They'd just be beating each other up in a pit wearing like loincloths and beating each other with sticks.
The door handle's just loose, and if you close the door, it latches, and the door handle doesn't work.
Doesn't work. We just throw some meat in the pit every once in a while. So, yeah, they're doing all of that, and after that, he starts, while he's being a prosecutor, he also gets into the politics of everything here, of the city. He wants to be involved in the politics, becomes kind of a political organizer, is an advisor to some people running for office and all of that sort of thing.
Well, that's also some baptism by fire for politics, because there's politics involved of like people getting prosecuted, and then as the prosecutor, you're like, I'm not going to fucking prosecute that. Why? Just because the fucking mayor wants it?
There's that, and also he knows everybody is the other thing.
Yeah.
He's been if you work as a defense attorney and a prosecutor, you meet everybody in power and government. So you end up doing that. He helps elect Daniel Frawley, the mayor, in 1984, works on his campaign. And people start saying he convinces, he can like broker
Got
shit,
a knack
basically.
for this shit. Yeah.
He's good at brokering things. He's a deal maker type guy. He can convince, he gets big banks to come in they give him credit for this. I mean, the laws got them to want to go to Delaware, but he kind of funneled them toward the high-rise office buildings in Wilmington and said, you guys should move in here. He then works on the re-election campaign for Frawley in 1988. It's a landslide re-election win. So then he quits all of this to work for the family business now.
What's that?
Which is Louis Capano and Sons, the construction, the big contracting business. So one of his tasks here is the problem. His other brother, Louis Jr. here, he was running the firm, and he's got a real problem on his hands that his brother here is trying to help him out with. Now, Tom is he knows a lot of people in government and knows all the courts people, so he's a guy you need in this situation. The problem is his brother Louis was involved in an FBI sting operation.
What's Louis doing?
To nab 2 city councilmen trying to extort $100,000 in exchange for votes favorable to the business. So he was caught doing that.
Quote unquote lobby, but the shitty way.
But like in a paper bag with cash. It's a different kind of lobbying.
The ugly lobby.
It's called bribery, as a matter of fact, I believe, allegedly.
Yeah, that's
so I think I think that's the word for it that we're looking for.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So Capano made this is Louis now, made illegal campaign contributions to one of the men, but no charges were ever filed against him. Okay. So he might have got his brother out of that. It might have been a shitty case. We don't know. Yeah. Then there was this was, by the way, not the first time he's had to help his brothers out. Years before, his brother had been charged with, the same brother, Louis, who was running the firm.
He's a good kid.
Charged with throwing a chair through the glass door of his sister's house and choking his brother-in-law in a dispute over money.
My God.
That's wild shit right there.
That's a fun Easter.
That is a great Thanksgiving.
Well, it's almost like if you name your kid after yourself and show some fucking pride.
It's almost like Crime and Sports taught us nothing, is what it is. If you've not listened to Crime and Sports, inordinate amount of people are either juniors or name their kids junior, and it never turns out well.
Never. It's never good.
So it's very weird here. So that's what's going on. He's trying to now help his family and all that kind of thing. He leaves the family business in 1990, though. So he only works for them for a couple years. I think it was just to get his brother, help get him out of trouble, stabilize everything, and then move on.
Sort it out and get out, yeah.
Sort it out and get out here. So in 1990, he becomes the governor's legal counsel, Governor Castle.
Okay, yeah.
So it's his legal counsel. So now he's the governor's legal counsel. He's doing
pretty
very
sweet.
well for himself. Yeah.
Retained by the governor.
Fuck yeah, he's doing great. He's making, because he's doing private practice stuff too, because he's in a private practice. It's not a government job. He's making $250,000 a year at the time. Wow. Which is big money in 1996. Big money now, but I mean, even then, huge money, even bigger. He's thinking about maybe running for attorney general. Maybe I'll get into. Yeah, I mean, why not? I know all the politics. I'm an attorney. He's kind of made for it. Yeah. His friends, though, said maybe not. Maybe you shouldn't. He said, first of all,
scrutiny. Yeah.
Well, they said you don't really have the temperament to do that. You're not really a, hey, how's it going? Love, how's the wife and kids kind of guy? And that's kind of, you have to be full of shit to be in politics. Let's be realistic here.
You got to be a politician.
You got to be a politician. Yeah. And they said your name also carries a little baggage with it.
Does it?
A little bit of baggage considering, well, the main problem was, because this is like 1992, and the main issue isn't his one brother, it's his other brother. His other brother kind of sullied the name a little bit the year before in 1991.
Louis fucks it up enough, but then other brother?
Joey comes in and fucks it up a little more. Joseph was charged with kidnapping and raping a 27-year-old woman with whom he had a 9-year relationship.
How does he have such degenerate brothers?
It's because they're ne'er-do-well rich kid shitbags. That's
Boy,
why.
Are they fuck-ups.
They're all Anthony Juniors is what they are.
Yeah.
Like, the rest of his brother, they're fucking 3 Anthony Juniors. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. That's
a Sopranos reference if you don't know. But Anthony Jr., they spoiled him. They gave him the truck. He didn't want to do anything.
Trying to get him just to go to Rutgers and fucking be a good kid.
Go somewhere. Go to community college. They didn't care. Just go hang out at the strip club and drink beer, AJ. And he's like, I don't want to. He's like, what the fuck? Tits and beer? So Joseph pleaded guilty to misdemeanor assault charges. Mm-hmm. So
what?
Misdemeanor assault he got.
From the worst.
Rape and kidnapping.
As if he just slapped a woman? Jesus.
Misdemeanor assault. You can get in a shoving match outside a 7-Eleven tomorrow and you'll get charged with misdemeanor assault. That is a distance from rape and kidnap. So we don't know what happened there. One of his friends here, Kevin Friel, who is a big into the political scene around here, he said, I told him it'd be a lot easier if you just changed your last name.
Yeah.
Just be a different person.
Yeah.
Fuck it. The problem is, though, he's also got some issues, Tom. Oh. He looks great on the outside, but he's got some other issues as well. He's had some problems with women in the past. Now, keep in mind, he's been married since like 1974, but that doesn't matter with this fucking guy.
Yeah, how could you have problems with women?
Yeah, fuck that. So it's a little bit weird. Now, years before all of this, I guess there's a woman who was a secretary for a Wilmington attorney and, was around a friend of hers, and she introduced Tom to her friend. And the woman said she didn't want to go out with Tom. Okay, this is 1977, so he's been married like 3 years. He began pressuring the woman to go out with him. Not only to go out with him, to have sex with him.
Oh, boy.
And the secretary said, I'm engaged. I don't want to have sex with you.
Oh, don't worry. I'm married. It's fine.
He's like, yeah, I'm going to have a bunch of kids and shit. It doesn't even matter at all.
I got 4 daughters.
He went to her wedding. She was engaged. She wasn't lying. He went to her wedding because all the office people went. And then even after she was married, was persistently bothering her to have sex with him.
My word.
She clearly is not interested. She's literally marrying a man. Wait till his dick falls out of favor at least.
You were there when I stood in front of a holy man and took vows and shit.
Yeah. Wait till I don't want him to fucking jump up and down on me anymore, and then we'll talk about it, maybe. Give this marriage a few years to get old.
Yeah.
So it's insane. So he answers this with this stream of harassing phone calls to her.
Oh, man.
Which is a really at home, at work, in the middle of the night, in the middle of the day.
Jesus.
He tried to get her to come work for him, which is the last thing you'd want to do. Now he controls your paycheck, too. That's crazy.
Come sit in front of me for 8 hours a day while I, A, control your paycheck, and B, sexually molest you with my eyes.
Yeah, just to send you. I got a memo for you. Here it is. Oh, no, I'm not going to fuck you. Okay, never mind.
This is a Xerox of your penis, sir.
Yeah, this is not a memo.
Yeah.
So she said no, and she tried to. She didn't want to talk to him anymore, but he became even more persistent.
Yeah.
And he would follow her, to her car. He would watch her from his office window. Yeah. His family owned the apartment complex where she lived. I don't even know if she knew the family owned it. They own a lot of shit. He tried to have her evicted from the apartment complex because
she's married.
To show her that he could. Yeah. He told her, quote, "This is my town, my state."
What? Wait, no.
This is my town? What are you, Lucky Luciano? What the fuck are you talking about?
This isn't your town.
This isn't your town.
Yeah.
And he said that if you don't want to go out with me, you should just get out or you'll be sorry. Get out of town.
Yeah.
Like it's a Western.
Yeah. My town. I'm Montgomery Gentry.
Well, she decided that she wasn't going to be pushed out of town by this fucking demented John Wayne character.
Right.
And said no. So in September of 1980, he contacted a guy who he thought was a thug who he wanted to mess with her. Yeah. Turns out the guy was actually a confidential informant for the FBI.
Oh no.
So he told this person that he was, crazy about this woman. He loved her. He couldn't live without her. And he said, I love her. I'm crazy about her. I can't live without her. Hurt that bitch. That's exact quote unquote, hurt that bitch.
Stab her for me.
I hate to see if he didn't like you. This is amazing.
Hurt that bitch.
Hurt that bitch. I love her. Hurt her bad. Wow. He said,
don't send her flowers. Hurt that bitch.
He even gave the guy a couple suggestions of maybe how to do it. He said you could just knock her over the head, while she's walking. You could, run up and clock her one and she'll fall down, just to give her a hint. Or maybe run her over with your car.
Oh my God.
That's how she'll knock her right out of the road. She'll get the idea then.
Almost murder.
Yeah.
Everything. Right.
That's what it is. It's almost murder. He's like a mobster who she owes $100,000 to. don't kill him because I want my money, but let him know I mean business.
So
he doesn't understand how this works, I don't think.
no.
So the guy said, are you serious? Or, do you want her killed? And he said, no, I couldn't live with that, is what he told this FBI informant. I don't want her killed. Just hurt that bitch.
Yeah.
That's it.
Quote me.
So no physical harm ever came to her. He continued, so he just kept with the harassing phone calls. He just would bother her all the time and try to harass her. She eventually moved out of state, basically. The calls even continued then, and then eventually he gave up. But years this went on. This started in 1977. By 1980, he was talking about hurting that bitch. She never fucked him. For 3 years, he stalked and harassed this woman, and she never did anything to invite it whatsoever, which is crazy.
She left the state.
She had to leave. So now, around the 90s here, Tom meets Anne Marie. Okay. Anne Marie works for the governor. He works around politics. This is how it goes. So she meets him, and he is working as the head of the Wilmington office of Saul, Ewing, Remick, and Saul. And he's the governor's legal counsel, and this work often takes him to the governor's office where she is his scheduler, Anne Marie. Yep. Mm-hmm. So that's how they come in. She's young. She's got some troubles as well. She's got like an eating disorder, some emotional instability and stuff like that. But, she's figuring it out.
She's had a very tough. Anybody that's been through her shit's going to have some flaws here and there.
She's going to have some stuff going on, but she's doing fine for herself. She's she's holding her life together as a single person and everything. And this guy, he's still married and has 4 kids, mind you.
Right.
How the fuck do you have time to harass somebody?
Right.
When you're married with 4 kids.
What about the dance recital, man?
I mean, dude, what are you, like, doing this from Little League games? Hold on, I got to go use a payphone and go, you fucking bitch. Okay, come on, sweetie. Hit that ball. Like, how do you have time for that shit? So, yeah, this is how it's going on. One day, Anne Marie, she would usually, this is the other thing, too, she would fold her dirty clothes, which is strange. She's very neat.
When she puts it in the
hamper, she folds it first. Yes, all of her clothes are folded nicely in her hamper, which would be very difficult to tell what's clean and what's dirty for me. So that would be hard for me.
That's like you're pulling all that shit apart anyway to sort it. Is she sorting it while she does it?
It's going to not be folded in the machine, I assume. It's going to go all over the place.
She's just folding clothes all day.
All of her shoes were in their original boxes, stacked in their closet in order of certain orders she had. She's that much of a neat freak. Yeah, she's very much like that. Her friends called her, quote, Anal Annie.
Okay.
Which is a coincidence because that is also an award at the Adult Video Awards. I'm pretty sure the Anal Annie Award, I believe, is for best gaping scene. I'm sure
every year the newest starlet is told that name's already taken.
You're no Anal Annie, sweetheart. That's what they tell her. Well, I know you're all cocky right now, all full of yourself, but
all cock strong and
cocky and full of yourself both. Anal Annie. So, but it's just because of her not because
she's anal retentive,
likes butt sex. Mm-hmm. She might. I don't fucking know, but that's not. It's really pretty pointless or beside the point at this moment. So she said that she didn't know if she'd ever meet the right guy. She's only in her 20s. I mean, there's no reason to panic here. This is fine.
Calm down. Yeah.
Then in the summer of '93, Tom asks her out to lunch. Tom. He's been married, 20 years or so.
Yeah.
4 daughters. But she says yes. She'll go out with him because he seems charming. He comes in all the time and she talks to him all the time.
Lunch?
It's just lunch. So, yeah, he didn't say lunch of my penis. That's what we're serving.
It's like you are not lunch.
Al dente penis is what we're having this afternoon. Pesto al dente penis.
Yeah.
Enjoy. So the summer of 1993, and she's single, she's available, and she's pretty and tall, and she, she just got out of a long-term relationship too. So, that's going well. They have a dinner date in the summer of '93. So apparently the lunch went well.
Lunch went to dinner.
It moves on to dinner at the Ristorante Panorama in Philadelphia.
Fucking yeah.
So very nice. And they have their first kiss that night and everything else.
Oh.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit more than that. And from there, he really takes charge of the relationship. If they're going to dinner, he's going to order the wine and the food.
Yeah.
She'll have this, I'll have this, we'll have a bottle of this.
Oh.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. Weird, I like to call that. Don't tell me what I'm eating. I get if he said, like, we got to have this wine because it's terrific. I've had it before and you're going to love it. We'll have this. That's different.
Yeah.
She'll have that is a weird thing to say. I stopped ordering for my daughter when she was about 5.5. I'd say, you got to tell him what you want now. So
yeah, my daughter tells me what she wants, and then I get, because she doesn't even want to talk to these people. So I have to say what she wants, but I'm not telling the people she will have this because I said so.
It's creepy, right?
That's bizarre. And you'll have this because it goes with this is even weirder, I think.
Yeah, you're going to have
that.
it's,
we're going to have this wine. Now pick something that goes with fucking Chardonnay.
That's, well, yeah, well, you could pick some people pick the wine before the food or the food before the wine, but.
Yeah, really? I guess that's
depends.
a good point.
Because if you go out and you're like, I really want fish, then you're going to have white. But if you really want red wine, then you're going to go, I'm not going to order the fish because I got red. I'm going to order
Or if you're
sauce.
an uncultured piece of shit, you just drink and eat whatever you want.
You just cross-pollinate that shit. The other thing, and I will say this, there's number one, he's 17 years older than her as well.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, besides when I got a job at a fucking restaurant selling wine, before that I didn't know dick about wine.
Right.
So that's another thing. And she's an Irish girl. He's an Italian guy. He might know a little bit more about an Italian wine at Ristorante Panorama, possibly also. That's all I'm
She
thinking.
might just say, fucking whiskey neat, please.
We're not having Baileys. That's not what we're drinking. Sorry. We'll have a bottle of the Pinot Noir, thank you.
Yeah.
So their dinner dates would mainly be in Philly. They just go to Philly because, it's not town. It's not where people will see them.
He won't be seen.
Exactly. But they're like, in Philly, they walk around like they're, immune to anybody seeing them. They don't give a fuck. They're going to the, places people go, the popular hot spots and shit like that. He's buying her expensive drinks, or expensive gifts and dresses, giving her cash and giving her plane tickets to go with him places.
How?
I don't know how he's hiding this from his wife. I have no idea how he's doing that.
But how do you, unless you put it all on credit cards and then just pay a credit card bill, That's
probably what it is. Or it goes to his office, like in Mad Men, the private executive account where the bills go to the office. It's one of those things. I think he's probably got that, I'm sure. Also, his wife is a real... His wife seems to have a real don't ask, don't tell policy going on about what goes on at home.
She might be jacked about the situation.
That's what I mean. He might be a pain in the ass. She's happy to have him out of the house. I'm not sure, but she's got a real, like, kind of Carmela Soprano, like, I don't know.
Fuck it. Yeah.
He works very hard. I don't know. As long as the bills are paid and I don't care what he does out there type of deal. So, or maybe not. But also there's cash he would give her. Why he would come, he'd come over to her apartment with like expensive gifts and expensive wine, and they'd sit on her apartment sofa and drink expensive wine and all that kind of thing. Her brother Mark said, the fact that he had money, I hate to say it, but she probably looked at his financial status as a security thing.
Yeah, and
that's her
there's
brother saying
that dead dad thing. So there's all kinds.
The gone dad thing. Also, there's a lot of psychological reasons for her to like an older guy that has money and is secure, but. Yeah. This might not be the right guy. Like, find one that's not married is the problem.
Yeah, but regardless of who it hurts, because this is not just detrimental to his family, it's clearly detrimental to her, too. She just doesn't care because there's this security and this comfort in,
And I think there's a possibility she thinks that this might be something. Who knows what he's telling her?
Who knows? Yeah,
he could be telling her, me and my wife.
James is a fucking politician.
We're not together, really. I have a career, so we have to stay together for the pictures and all that. But we haven't fucked since the fourth daughter was born. Like, who knows what he's telling her? So. Hey, everybody. Just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. The most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sonobello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sonobello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently. Wherever your problem areas are, tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sonobello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's SONOBELLO.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about our stylish friends at Quince. That's right, let's go elevate your styles, people. Yeah. Get it going, look good out there, and you can do it now without breaking your wallet, without breaking the bank, because at Quince, you can get high-end, versatile pieces at prices we can all actually afford, which is very nice. You want to get good stuff that lasts and it's good, and they have quality stuff that's very affordable, and you can do like we did, upgrading our stuff here, while still being a very reasonable price. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. It's all quality stuff. You're going to love it. Trust us, it looks good. And I've got the leather jacket. It's a very high-quality item. Real nice, soft leather. Yeah. Jimmie's got his linen pants he's rocking.
Yeah, they're terrific.
Come on, be like us. Be fashionable. Get in there with Quince. Indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/smalltownmurder for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/smalltownmurder to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about a very cool place, Thrive Market. Yes, we are both looking to get into the healthy swing this year. The problem is I don't know what's in everything, and I don't know if even I'm qualified to even read the labels to know if that's good or that's bad.
Right.
There's chemicals in things, and there's things floating around. I don't know what I'm doing out there. One of my favorite features, and I know you were talking to me about this, is the Healthy Swap Scanner in the Thrive Market app. Yeah, it's simple. You scan any item, and it'll instantly suggest a cleaner, healthier grocery alternative, which is
it's great.
Amazing. Yeah. That's great. Thrive Market also takes the guesswork out of finding these safe, healthy foods. For example, like I'm trying to get my protein intake up for energy. I'm always moving around. I need stuff, and I love that you can filter their site by the high protein options.
Nice.
It's very cool, and you can personalize this portion, and you can put filters on it. And get ready. You should be ready for a junk-free start to 2025. Get ready for it and head to thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder and get 30% off your first order plus a free $60 gift. That's THRIVE market.com/smalltownmurder, thrivemarket.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
There's a lot of her friend Kim said he treated her like a princess. He cared about every detail of her day, of her life.
Okay.
So he really has a lot of time in his day.
He's certainly invested in this.
4 kids and a wife, and you have time to manage the details of someone else's life?
Treat a 28-year-old as a princess? How?
Wow.
You got 5 of them at home.
That's what I mean. I don't know how you're doing it. There's a lot of email messages that go back and forth between the governor's office and the legal and the law firm, between the two of them. And he would keep copies of the notes in his briefcase. He would print out the emails and keep them in his briefcase. Yeah.
Very personal.
There were times where they'd sneak away for long lunches and, not come back after lunches, and afternoon times where they'd go to her apartment, where at the time she had 2 roommates as well. I don't know if they were at work or listening in or what. But the problem is, I don't know, this guy must not sleep, because not only is there this relationship, and he's married, and he has 4 kids, and he's a lawyer, which seems like that's a lot of work probably too. He's got another girlfriend as well.
What?
This girlfriend he's been carrying on an affair with since 1981. 15 years of this affair now has been going on.
He's really Tony.
He is. That's what I mean. This is his Gumar because they all the guys have a Gumar, and this guy he's a mob guy. Like I feel great about this episode because I know a lot about what's going on here. This is very familiar and all. He's a mob guy. He's got a Gumar on the side, and now he's looking for another one. He's got other ones that come in and out of his life. But a lot of these old mob guys would have the real old school thing to do was have like a second wife, basically, a Gumar was. That was, she's got an apartment. Some of these guys had kids with them and everything. They had a whole separate life they'd go to, like, Vincent the Chin Gigante did that and all these guys. It was a big deal. So he's doing that. And even non-mobsters do that. It's a weird Italian thing that I don't understand it of the older generations, that it was accepted, too. My grandmother once told my mother, "Ma, what man doesn't fuck around?" That's what she said. "Ma, why do these women care?" she'd say. "Ma, you have a nice house, this, that. But what do you care what he does?" That was what she said out loud. And we were all like, what is wrong with you? Are you kidding me?
She came around before AIDS, James.
What do you care what he does? That is wild.
I don't know. I don't want my pussy to rot out.
Yeah. I mean, your pussy would rot out in the 50s and 60s. They didn't even have shit to fix it. It would just rot right out. Yeah. It was worse then. Christ almighty. It's weird. So the other woman, her name is Deborah McIntyre.
Yeah.
And McIntyre and Capano have been having this affair since 1981. This is how she is described by Jim Nolan here. Quote, "She was independently wealthy and attractive without being beautiful. A short, well-built woman, she swam to stay in shape but lacked Fahey's striking features." So she's not 5'10" and statuesque like
she's
Anne
also
Marie.
older.
That's the other thing. They've been together since Anne Marie was a fucking, literally in the fucking 9th grade. That's when they were been together since. Yeah. She also dresses more conservatively because she's a school administrator. She works at a school.
Fuck.
So she's pretty buttoned down. Don't think she's not a freak at night, though, because we'll talk about that. Debbie will get into some shit.
Here's the thing, James. He's finding all these chicks that dress real nice during the day that it's God damn it, it's a mystery what's under there, and he figures it out.
Those are the ones he meets because those are who he's around. I mean, he's around professional situations. Plus, like Tony Soprano wanted to fuck Dr. Melfi.
Yeah, because it's hot. Yeah,
it was someone who's.
I don't know what you look like under there.
Yes, plus success and confidence is attractive to people. It is. It's just attractive. Now, Tom said about McIntyre, he would boast to his friends that she had as strong a sex drive as any woman I ever met. She enjoyed sex very, very, very much as I did, he told a friend.
Yeah.
Into it. And we know he's horny as fuck, as we've realized.
Yeah.
He said that she introduced him to porn, to really getting into porn.
Like really dirty shit.
Yeah, because if you came up beforehand, porn wasn't like accessible to the public at home and shit until like the late 70s, early 80s when you could get videotapes. Before that, it was you had to go jerk off in a theater around other people like a lunatic. It'd be a special kind of fucking horn dog to do that shit.
And you had to really have some blinders to like block out the guy next to you.
Other people
crazy.
Whacking it? Yeah. That is crazy.
Yeah, it's not just you jerking off. It's another guy right there doing the same thing.
Either that or you had to get like a 16 millimeter film and hang a sheet on your wall. And who the hell is going to jerk off the film fucking going? That's not helping.
Another reel. Shit.
That's not helping. Fuck. That second reel, this really gets going. I'll tell you what. So also introduced him, as he said, he claims she introduced him to three-way sex as well.
Meaning she would bring people?
That's what he says, but she will later dispute that. She doesn't dispute that they watched porno and had sex with other people, but she wasn't the one who brought all this in. He's acting like I was just innocent babe in the woods, and she came in with her fucking with a porn in one hand and a whip in the other, and was like, "Let's get it on, bitch."
His dirty principal and nothing but high heels and a whip.
High heels, a whip, and a one of those suit jackets that they wear, but no underwear.
Dragging two friends with her.
Yeah, come on now. She talked about their first time alone together was in the bathroom of a friend's house on New Year's Eve when both her husband at the time and his wife were both also in the house.
Oh, my.
So these two both get off on the sleaze and the let's not get caught of it.
It's the danger. It's the danger. Fucking danger.
That's what they're into.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This could ruin my entire life and yours. Let's do it.
It's high wire act sex.
Yeah.
That's what this is. That's
Wow.
That makes it hotter. If we can, our lives can be destroyed over it. That's great.
It is kind of hot.
I mean, well, people are.
Wild.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
People don't want to get caught. Yeah. She also talked about the first time they had sex. It was on the floor of his den in his house during a Memorial Day weekend when his wife was away visiting relatives.
Jesus.
So he had her over to the crib there. Which
just showed her his den
insane.
and then his dick.
Yeah, his dick. He had a bearskin rug, I'm sure.
Yeah. There's something on the floor.
Yeah. Eventually, they would hook up on a weekly basis, sometimes even more, at the Motel 6 on Route 9 near the Delaware Memorial Bridge.
Good Lord.
Oh, yeah. He also
The danger has just, they don't even care about that anymore.
Well, they're just stopping at this shit motel that none of those people would go to. Nobody
That's
they know
not
would go there.
dangerous at all.
Nope. No, it's just an affair after a while.
Yeah.
It's just good
That's
fucking pretty soon.
it's just guaranteed sex.
It's just crazy, we're watching porn with two other people in the room sex at that point. So he had the keys to her house. He had the code to her alarm. He could come by anytime he wanted, unannounced, and just, like he lived there, basically. Wow. He was like Tony stopped by his girlfriend's houses all the time. Or Don Draper would stop by Midge's house in first season there while she was doing artwork and shit. Same thing. She, of course, didn't have a key to his house and couldn't go there unless his wife was out of town and he invited her. Right. And she was absolutely not allowed to leave messages on his answering machine, which is just common sense if you're going to have an affair.
Yeah. You want to fuck this up or what?
Yeah, this is pre, everybody having cell phones here.
Yeah,
so.
I thought you liked sex very, 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 very much.
Very, very much, yeah. Fucking don't leave a message.
Yeah.
So apparently one time he ended the affair at one point, and she ended up getting them back together. She said, I would have loved to have him leave his wife for me, but I became satisfied with what we had. I figured the relationship we had made me feel so good that I could live with what we had. She was happy being a Gumar. That was all there was to it. She was like, this is nice. He buys me shit, comes over, fucks me, and leaves.
Yeah.
We go out to dinner. He fucks me, and then him and whoever else was here leaves, Well,
then him and everybody else gets out.
And him and all the other naked people put their clothes on and go home.
And I get to sleep.
Yeah. So by summer of 94, Anne Marie had moved into her own apartment. It was a kind of a rundown apartment on the second floor of a building. He helps her, though, by buying her a 32-inch TV, which in 1994 was...
It's
a big screen, basically, in 94. Yeah. I mean, outside of a projection, that's about as big as you're going to get. Yeah. That's like expensive. That was like probably $800 in 1994.
We had a 27. The whole living room could see it. It's crazy.
I remember when my dad got a 27, I was like, whoa.
Look at this motherfucker.
He bought it on a Sunday, and I was like, football's going to be insane today. Like, I was jacked for a 27-inch CRT. Yeah. And that was in like 92.
On the Lord's Day, he brought that to you.
Doing the Lord's work is what he's doing. Also bought her like an espresso machine and a fancy mixer and, all the fancy shit that she wasn't going to be able to afford herself. People started to, there's rumors though. I mean, you can only go so long without this getting out.
Yeah.
They're both, people know
how you
know
behave
them.
around people. People pick up on shit like that.
But everybody, they swear all their friends to secrecy. Please don't say anything. Please don't say anything.
Are you fucking her? Shut up.
Or some of her siblings would be like, all of a sudden she had this expensive wardrobe and all this shit, but they just figured that she was trying to up her look for her job. You know what I mean? She works in the governor's office now. Her sister said, there's this big TV in her living room, 32-inch, by the way, this big TV. Huge. Yeah. I mean, but that was like,
I can't believe it.
When you walked into someone's house and all of a sudden they had that, you'd go, damn, where'd you get that thing? That's fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
She said, I asked her where she got it. She said she won it.
Yeah, she did.
It's raffles. Yeah, she won it. All right. She said later on, now things do make sense. She knew I wouldn't approve, is what her sister said once she found out later. Now, by the beginning of 1995, she's having a tough time with him because he's starting to be very demanding now.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Anne-Marie is?
Yeah. On The Sopranos, when he had the original Russian girlfriend, she said something about some other guy, and he said, "What you do on your own time is none of my concern. I don't fucking care. When you're with me, I don't give. That's the one thing." This isn't how his attitude is at all.
Really?
His attitude is, I own you because I bought you shit.
I'm the one.
And I'm the one here. So he started to be very jealous. He didn't want her to go to the shore with her friends. You know, he wanted her to stay out of this pub where all of her family used to go and hang out, and a bunch of her friends went. Whenever she would dress in anything like low cut or anything, he would say, "You look like a whore." Very nice.
Yeah.
It's pretty silly. He also
Divine
got angry.
horse, sir. You son of a bitch.
Cleavage is showing in his case.
Yeah, but it's just like, dude, you're literally giving me things and money and in exchange for sex. Like, what are you trying to call me here?
He wants to own her. That's it. He thinks in his mind he's buying her. You know.
Okay.
He got pissed off when he repeatedly asked her to come work for the family business. For his brother, and she said no, and he got pissed off at that too. Now, there's another problem. In the middle of 1995, he starts another affair as well.
How? How much jizz do you have?
People usually only juggle with 3 balls.
Right.
Now, he's already got 4 going on now. This is crazy. This is insanity. Yeah, he's got a wife and 3 girlfriends now. So this is Susan Louth. She's a secretary at the construction firm, his family's construction firm, who started having an affair with him in middle of 1995. Then this is all going on. Then in late 1995, Tom leaves his wife.
Good.
Okay.
Poor thing.
Now around this time, Tom and Anne-Marie are starting to kind of drift apart a little bit because he's got other girlfriends and, you know, his time can only be spread so thin. She starts dating another man.
Okay.
A single man, an unmarried man named Michael Scanlon, who's a banker with MBNA, who had been introduced to her by her boss, the governor. The governor said, "Here's a nice young man for you.
Yeah.
You should talk to him."
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's what they do. So she never tells this Scanlon about Tom, though, because she didn't want to mess that relationship up here. But her sister said she told me she hoped to marry him, that he was it, meaning this other guy, Scanlon.
MBNA guy.
Yeah, the banker guy. So the problem is Tom isn't quite ready to let her go completely yet. Obviously.
Yeah.
He tells her friends that she ruined his life and that he left his wife for her, and now she was rejecting him. He has 2 other girlfriends. At least. These are the ones we know about. Right. Who knows what else he's got going on cooking? You know what I mean?
You didn't leave your wife for her.
She wouldn't answer his emails. He offered to buy her a new Lexus, and she said no. He offered her a free apartment in one of the complexes his family owns. She said no. He bought her plane tickets to Europe. She said no.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Those are hints.
No. You know?
Those are the biggest hints you can get. She's saying no to you a lot.
To a luxury car. No.
Yeah.
So she, at one point, talked to her friend saying, I wonder if I'm going to have to get out of town to get away from this fucking guy because he won't leave me alone. And he's always in the office because he's the governor's, that's how it works. He would tell her, that's my TV in your apartment. I bought you those dresses. I'm the only one who's allowed to see you in those dresses because I paid for them. He said, even the groceries I bought you in your fridge are mine. Everything's mine that I bought you.
I ate and shat those 3 months ago.
The ones you have right now that I dropped off. Mine.
Yeah, I've been Instacarting every day.
Hey, don't touch those grapes. They're mine. Stop it.
Those cotton candies, don't you dare.
That provolone is mine. Leave it alone. I'm going to weigh it. It better be a half pound when I pick it up again. So one day, he barged into her apartment and started taking things. This is mine. I think this is what I bought for you. You're going to take that.
He's got the paddle ball.
He said, quote, no man is going to watch the TV that I gave you or see you in the dresses I gave you.
Jesus.
No other man's eyes will watch this TV. Is ridiculous. Think about saying that. How dumb would you feel saying that? With a straight face, could you say that?
No man's eyes shall watch a football game on this TV.
He eventually brought it all back, though.
Okay.
Because he said he felt bad.
Yeah, he felt the shame.
Well,
as soon as he got
also,
in his car.
That's not going to help. She's not coming back because you stole all her shit.
Yeah.
Like, she's not going to come back to you to get her TV back. That's probably not going to happen. Mm-mm. So he told all of her friends that he loves her and, you know, all of this shit. It's a lot. It's a lot. So Anne-Marie, by now, some time goes by. We're in 1996. Everybody says, like, she became a little more gaunt. Her eating disorder had kicked in a little bit more, possibly from the stress. She lost a lot of weight, looked pretty skinny. Her therapist gave her Prozac for her depression around this time as well. And also, Tom claims she spoke of suicide around this time, too. Okay. But nobody else said that. She told, she would tell all her friends that he was crazy. So he'd say, she said she wants to kill herself, and she would say he's insane.
Okay. She's crazy. No, he's crazy.
One time he drove Anne-Marie to his house against her will. That's called kidnapping.
It is.
That's called, well, he learned it from his brother, which is, he's great at it.
Taking a person from one location to another against their will is the definition of kidnapping.
It's exactly what kidnapping is. And pulled into the garage and locked the doors of the car, refusing her to let her get out until she heard him out.
That's called false imprisonment. Like this
inside. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
And he's like, the car's running too. You better hope I get to the end of it before we pass out. No, I'm not saying that actually happened, but that's what it would seem like. Might as well take it that far here. So he did that. She'd listen to him. He eventually let her go. He would hang out outside her apartment, just saying, please let me in. And she wouldn't let him in. Yeah. So into 1996, into the spring, he starts calling her less and less, often. Kind of goes away a little bit, kind of fades away, and she starts to think she's good now, okay? In her diary on April 7th, 1996, she wrote, I have finally brought closure to Tom Capano. What a controlling, manipulative, insecure, jealous maniac, she says. Not a ringing endorsement at all.
I wouldn't, that's not,
You don't want to... You don't want to put that like on your website at the top. Yeah. I'm Tom Capano.
If you called another employer and said, why did he leave? And they read that to you, you're not hiring that guy.
Probably not. Yeah. He's obviously still dating, Debbie McIntyre. He's got Susan, the secretary and the school teacher he's got here. There's a lot going on here. He even at one point reestablished contact with the lady who he tried to pay somebody to run over with a car.
Okay, yeah.
Also, there's a lot here. Now, February 1996, he told his brother Gerard he had a problem. Told Jerry there's an issue.
He's got another brother.
He's got a bunch of brothers here. There's Jerry, there's Louie, there's Robert, the other one, Junior. Yeah, Joey. He said a man and a woman were trying to extort him. So he said, can I borrow a handgun for protection? I'm afraid they're going to try to do something to me. So Tom also asked Gerard here. Now, Gerard is the one, he's kind of considered the craziest of the group, of the brother group here. He said, do you know anyone I could hire to break someone's legs as well? I'm looking for a handgun and also a leg breaker, if you can point me in the right direction.
Everything else in my life is going great. Those are the two things I need.
That's it. And he also said, if I have to say, kill these extortionists to protect my family, if they come to my house and I have to shoot them, can I possibly use your boat if I need to at that point?
Yeah.
And Jerry, I was like, yeah, I mean, whatever. You know what I mean? It's cool.
Brother's a brother.
Brother's a brother. Yeah, you have to do that. And it's just an Italian thing. If someone comes up to you that you're related to and says, I need your boat, and you have to let them do it. It's just one of those things. It's the law of the old country.
I may never get this boat back, but okay.
No way to stop it. You just have to do it.
It may be confiscated by law enforcement someday. All right, enjoy.
If I had a boat and my brother came to me, I'd be like, fine. You know what I mean? Like, I have to.
Fill it up when you bring it back.
Great. Thanks. Yeah, don't fuck it up, please. Come on, man.
Don't run it aground.
But you have to.
Yeah.
So in April 1996, Anne-Marie agrees to see Tom here, agrees to see him in May at one point. She said goodbye to him in April. So that was the end of it. Then She starts talking to him again and agrees to see him in May for one day. Yeah. One day she sent an email to him and signed it. I signed it, love you. So that's odd. Yeah. During this time.
But if you do, you do.
I guess, but that's probably the wrong signal to send a stalker.
Yes.
You've just gotten to stop stalking you.
Perhaps she did it tongue in cheek.
That's weird. If you want the cats to stop coming to your back door, stop putting out cat food.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying that she was putting out cat food to begin with, but then all the cats went away and she said, oh, no, I kind of miss the cats.
She shouldn't have put out a rat feed.
Yeah, it's weird. So another day, then she told him it was over another day. So this kind of, they were just having I don't know. She might have said a cat. Maybe she signs all of her fucking stuff to all of her friends like that. I don't know. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's the other thing. Another day, she told him it was over, and he responded by calling her a slut and a bitch.
Yeah.
And grabbing her throat before she jumped out of the car.
Yeah, I mean, those are...
It's over at that point, right?
It's done.
Yeah. Then, in April, he went to the Sports Authority on Concord Pike and paid $180 for a 5-foot-long white igloo cooler.
Oh.
It's a fishing model. It's used to store big fish for deep-sea fishing.
All right.
Now, June 12th, 1996, she's still dating Michael Scanlon. She faints in her office that day.
Oh.
She faints and has a bit of an issue medically and faints. The first person she called isn't Michael Scanlon. It's Tom.
Why?
She calls Tom first. I don't know. That's what's weird. I don't know why she felt safe calling him at that point. I don't know if he'd been sweet-talking her or what, but that's what happened. June 27th, 1996, he invited her to dinner that night at the Ristorante Panorama, site of their first kiss.
Sake. Yep.
Yep. Anne-Marie, they ate at 7. They started eating at 7. She had a Laura Ashley flower print dress on. Mm-hmm. And she had swordfish, and that's what we know. There's something going on, though. There's recent emails and phone calls that shows like they've been talking more and being more friendly, but we don't know what's going on here. So she, takes her leftovers here about 9 p.m. Tom says they drove back to his house to pick up groceries for her house, which was rice, bananas, spinach, strawberries, and soup. He was just picking, I don't know, he had extra food at the house. I don't know what's going on. He also gave her, had a gift for her, a $400 outfit that she had tried on a few days earlier but said was too expensive to buy. So he bought it for her.
Went back and picked it up. Attaboy.
Yep. He said they drove 5 minutes to her apartment where he placed the groceries on the kitchen counter. He gave her the gift. He said he went into her bedroom to check on the air conditioner and because she said something was going on with it, and to use the bathroom, and he was gone by 10 p.m.
Okay.
Now, the next day, he has his home here, his main home. He removes the wall-to-wall beige carpet and this large sleeper sofa with pillows in the great room of his house the next day.
He's busy.
Yeah. With help from his brother Gerard, he went to his now soon-to-be ex-wife's house because they're apart and borrowed her 93 Chevy Suburban so he could take it to a dumpster on a property owned by the construction company, his family's construction company. And then another brother ordered that the dumpsters be emptied several days ahead of schedule.
Okay.
Not shifty at all here.
Not at all, yeah.
No. Later that day, Tom went to Air Base Carpets in Newcastle where he purchased an 8x11 $249 multicolored oriental rug and 2 chairs to replace it with. The housekeeper said super weird because she said the carpet and the sofa were in very good condition,
brand new,
no reason to throw them out, and not stained at all when she had cleaned the house on June 24th, which was just days before this. So really weird. Now, the day of the carpets, by the way, he had a busy day because that's what he was doing later, the carpets. Yeah. Earlier in the day, he was waking up his brother Jerry at 6 a.m.
Oh?
Woke up Jerry at 6 a.m. knocking on the door. It's Tom. And Jerry's like, what do you need? And, they said it was Jerry thought it was weird because he's the last brother you expect to be banging on your door at an odd hour.
Yeah, he's always
the most.
well
stable.
put together. Yeah,
exactly. He's well sewn up here. They said he's the good son. You know what I mean?
Oh boy,
he's a level-headed attorney. He's all that kind of shit and everything. Now, what he says is, I need help from you, Jerry.
Keys to a Sea Ray.
He said, can you get a hold of the boat?
Mm-hmm.
And Jerry said, okay. I mean, yeah, I can get a hold of the boat. He had asked him about the boat in February, wondering if he would lend it to him if he had to kill two people who were extorting him. And this was also around the time he borrowed a gun and said, can you find someone to break anybody's legs? He had returned the gun a while ago.
Okay.
Nothing ever came of the other thing, of the leg breaking. But now it's 6 a.m. on June 28th, and he's saying, hey, I need that boat again.
Yeah.
So Jerry said, did you do it? And he said, yes. So they hop in. It's a 25-foot Hydra Sports fishing boat.
Oh.
Cool boat. Nice fishing boat. 25 foot. That's a nice boat. It's a hell of a
25 is a good sized boat, but
it's a nice boat.
Unless
it's not
you're
a yacht, but it's a fishing boat.
It's certainly a lake boat. That's not a fucking ocean boat.
Well, that's where they use it, for the oceen, for the sea.
Yeah, that's frightening.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
guess.
small boat. Oh, you know what? It might be a center console 25-footer. Those can cook.
It's a fishing boat. It's not a speed boat. You're thinking of like the little speed boats, I think.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of any kind of boat that's 25 feet long is generally not big enough for the fucking ocean, unless it's a center console with a couple of big outboards. That's a pretty damn good fishing boat.
Yeah, that's where he keeps it. At Smuggler's Cove Marina is where he keeps it.
I'll bet that's what it is. I'll bet it's a center console.
Got to be one of those deals there. And it's called the Summer Wind.
You bet it is.
Because one thing here's something for people out there. Yeah. I don't know how many Italian listeners we have, but I assume 99% of you aren't. So I'm going to fill you in on something. Every Italian guy, maybe not if they're under like 30 now, but everybody else has something named after something Frank Sinatra. It's just a thing. What's my oldest dog's name, Jimmie?
Yeah, that is Frankie.
Yeah, it is Frankie. Yeah. I thought Franklin Doggano Roosevelt was funny, funny thing to call her, but still, it just happens. We can't help it. And Summer Wind is a popular Frank Sinatra song, and that's why, and Stugatz was already taken by Tony Soprano, so you couldn't use that.
Yeah.
So they take it. It's filled up with fuel. They go out to sea. The marina attendant sees two people pulling off, him and his brother, and their big giant cooler.
Okay, yeah.
And which a lot of people take a cooler out
Fuck
there.
Yeah,
because
you're going to need it.
You're going out
you're
there.
Going to catch a giant fish.
Jerry's captaining, and he's also got a deer rifle with him, too.
Where are you fishing? Well, don't worry about that. We're going to get him this way.
There's sturgeon, there's deer, there's all sorts of shit out there. I don't know what I'm going to run into. You might get sometimes, a 10-pointer. I don't know.
Sometimes the steelhead ain't so keen to bite.
Shoot it. That's so weird. So, they said that Tom stayed in the company of the 5-foot-long cooler. Mm-hmm. The cooler, by the way, had a lock and a chain on top of it holding it closed, which is that's not normal now for going out on the boat usually.
Sometimes the Bud Light's jumping more than the fish. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's why they threw Big Pussy off the side of the boat. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's with chains and locks and shit. So they were heading about 60 miles offshore. I think 77 miles is where they end up going offshore. This is where you go for big
fish.
That's big game fishing here. Yeah. This is where basically it's 190 feet to the bottom of the sea. Whoa. You throw something off here, it's never getting found.
You're never finding that.
No. You're going to have to get in a little exploding fucking capsule that'll take you down below the sea at that point.
The things that fold.
Yeah. So he, at that point, Tom, grabs a hold of the giant padlock cooler that he had loaded into his brother's Jeep and drags it onto the ramp of the back of the boat and pushes it off.
Yeah.
And it floats.
Yeah, because it's full of foam.
Because it's a fucking cooler. It's a cooler. It's
the insulation floats, guys.
So now he's got a cooler just floating away from them in the open ocean and then trying frantically to catch up to and sidle up next to the cooler because they can't just let it float around the ocean now.
Right, like a fucking murder iceberg.
It's it. It's a little murder berg. Holy it's a murder buoy. That's all it is. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Gerard is losing his mind at the helm of the boat. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? Jesus Christ. He said, quote, I can't believe you let me get involved in this. What the fuck is wrong with you? And Tom's trying to fish the fucking this fucking giant cooler out of the goddamn ocean while he's trying to sidle up next to it on the thing. He spat at his brother. He was so mad. You son of a bitch. Then they're trying to figure out. Tom's going, I can't get it. I can't get it out. And then also to extract it from the water is going to be hard because there's that suction with the water.
It's so heavy too.
It's going to be so heavy. So Jerry now, we've turned it into a Coen Brothers movie now. Now it's fucking Fargo because the brother then takes his deer rifle and fires a shot at it.
Yeah. You put water in it.
At the cooler. Yeah, maybe that'll do it. It'll drain. Yeah. It'll suck in and go. That would really only work with 2 holes. Probably is the problem.
Yeah,
due to the way
hopefully it goes all the way through.
Stuff. Yeah. So he shoots it into the side of the cooler, and some blood comes out of the side of the cooler.
Oh Jesus,
that's not great. Finally, Tom pulls it on board. So they tried throwing it out. They tried picking it up. It wouldn't come out. They tried shooting it. It was still floating around. So now Tom drags this back onto the boat. Mm-hmm. He opens up the chains, opens up all this, and it pops the lid off.
Yeah.
This is the first time Jerry has seen what's in the cooler.
Oh, God.
Here. He will say later that he didn't see the body in the cooler.
Uh-huh.
But we think he did. It's Anne-Marie he's got in the cooler, obviously.
Just one, not two bodies.
Not 2 bodies. And a young woman's body. Right. She really looks like an extortionist. Yeah, I don't know how you wouldn't have. Yeah. You couldn't have fended her off by any other means I could see.
That's a nice dress on that extortionist.
A flowery Laura Ashley dress. What all extortionists wear.
Yeah.
Usually.
Extortionist uniform.
Organized crime, they love flowery Laura Ashley stuff. It's weird. I've noticed it growing up. Yeah. Lots of guys wearing that shit. So this is what's weird. He would later say, Gerard would say, he just thought it was one of the 2 people his brother told him about in February that were extorting him. So Jerry said his last memory of this was the sound of something hitting the water, which he said he turned around, Jerry, after he heard the noise, looked, and he saw an ankle and a foot sinking into the water. That's what he saw. So he saw the last little part of a body sinking into the water. By the way, he used the anchor from Summerwind's anchor to weigh down the body.
Wow.
And just toss the cooler.
Yep.
Don't need this anymore.
Yeah.
That's how fishermen end up finding it bobbing around in the sea.
Right.
A few days later. So Tom, it took 8 hours to do this, by the way.
Jesus.
8 hours. So he did all of that. Then he did the carpeting thing. Yeah. Then he got home and had a pizza and watched TV with his daughters and fell asleep.
That's a cold son of a bitch, man.
That is a hardcore. At least, Tony, after a murder, Soprano would go have a big steak with the guys first to decompress and then go home. You couldn't just go home and be like, hi, kids, let's have some ice cream. That's fucking weird. So he wakes up, though, about 10:30 p.m. from falling asleep with his daughters. He leaves the daughters there, tells them, he'll pick them up the next day, and heads out the door. He drives 2 blocks to a place on Delaware Avenue, pulls into the driveway, opens up the back door with his key, and heads on up into Debbie McIntyre's place.
Wow.
She's already
gal.
Yep, she's already in bed. She's been expecting him. They start, kissing and all that sort of thing. The next morning they have sex and go downstairs and have breakfast and all that kind of shit. That's how that goes. So that's his 24 hours following that.
Jesus Christ.
Pizza with the kids and sex with your with your Gumar. So that's what's going on. June 30th, 1996, which is a couple days later, Anne-Marie's supposed to show up to have dinner with her brother and her boyfriend, her brother, and her brother, boyfriend, and somebody, and her sister as well, and her sister. So Robert Fahey, her brother's like, why didn't her and her boyfriend show up for dinner? What's going on? So so the sister and a few friends go to her apartment to see if everything was okay, and they saw groceries, the gift box, the wallet, the lights were off, the air conditioning was on. They found Anne Marie's Volkswagen Jetta sitting in the same spot that it had been before, but she's not there. So a bunch of messages are on her machine, piling up on her, her voicemail and all that kind of thing. Michael Scanlon's calling her, going, "Where the fuck are you? Well, how come you haven't called me?" Her brothers and her sisters and everything else. So there's nothing missing from her apartment except the car keys. Her car keys aren't there, and her, obviously. Everything else seemed, things seemed out of place, which is the weird thing, though. There's groceries still on the counter. Shoe boxes had been pulled from the closet and were left on the floor. She keeps them stacked in the back of the closet. Yeah. The bedspread had been pulled back, but it didn't look like anyone had slept there. It just looked like it had turn down service on it. Yeah. The rectangular gift box containing the suit from Talbot's, which is what he bought her, that $400 outfit, was partially opened and tossed on the floor. So people are like, this isn't what she would do. She folds her dirty laundry.
Right.
So 3 days after all of this, the cops knock on Tom's door at 3:39 a.m. So they're trying to rouse him. He's a day guy, and they know it. So they're trying to rouse him and see if they can catch him off guard. They said that we were looking for a missing person. He said she mentioned something about going to the shore with her sister maybe, or her friend. I don't know. She was going somewhere. He told them he did go to her apartment Thursday night, but, he left after that, and he stopped at the Getty gas station on Lovering Avenue for cigarettes. Okay. So the cops follow up, go to that gas station, and find out that night the station had to close early, so that he couldn't have stopped there for cigarettes.
Why lie?
Why lie about something like that you don't know?
Right.
That's how you catch somebody and doing something stupid. So Debbie McIntyre, they go talk to her.
Yeah.
And she says, Anne Marie who? She had no fucking idea this girl existed.
Oh, no.
None. Except for when Tom came and told her about the whole thing a few days later. Even then, she still stayed with him. Even though he was married, he left his wife, still doesn't stay with her, finds other women to go out with. She said at that point she began to worry because she bought a .22 caliber Beretta for Tom a couple months ago. So when she asked him to give it back to her, she said he told her he got rid of it.
Oh, no.
That's not good. At a later point.
Why would you get rid of it?
At a later point, he told her, she said, well, where'd you get rid of it? Where do you get rid of a gun? And he said, I threw it in the deep in the water. And that's all he said. Okay. So investigators questioned her about the gun when that started happening. He made up a big elaborate tale for her to tell them. Yeah. He said, okay, tell them you bought the gun for self-defense, but threw it away in the trash because you feared your children would get their hands on it. Didn't want to. You changed your mind. It was more dangerous to have it in the house than it would be to face the wiles of the outside. Doesn't matter. So July 4th-ish, that's when the fishermen from Harrisburg find a giant empty cooler floating at sea.
Yeah.
And they're like, sweet, we could use this for fish. And they pull it on board. It's a coffin.
Yeah, it's a makeshift igloo coffin.
There's been a dead body, and they're just putting their fish on it.
Yikes.
The top was missing. There's a hole in the side, but they said, I mean, fuck, it's still a fucking cooler. Mm-hmm. So over the July 4th time here, more than 300 people joined the Fahey family in a massive search of the park and creek near her apartment.
Okay.
She's got a park and a creek. That'd be a good place for something bad to happen. You know what I mean? $10,000 reward is issued by the family and offered. And a few days later, even President Clinton at that time would offer federal aid to the investigation if they needed it.
Right.
And police, though, can't find anything. They can't find a body. They can't find anything. So in their investigation here, they had interviewed Anne Marie's closest friends, who all described this affair she had with Tom and her desire to break it off and him coming over and taking the fucking TV and all that kind of shit. They questioned the waiters at the Panorama restaurant, Ristorante Panorama, where the staff recalled her being solemn, quote unquote, during the dinner that she had in June, that last dinner that they had. She was solemn while eating a $154 dinner. That's what they came to, the dinner.
It's tough to be solemn with a dinner like that.
That's a 96. That's fucking.
That's a
great
lot. Dinner.
That's a high-dollar dinner. So, FBI Special Agent Eric Alpert interviewed Anne Marie's therapist as well, because now she's dead, and the families are saying, "Okay, talk." So, now the therapist had seen her the day before her date with Tom. She told this therapist told the investigator that Anne Marie had been that the therapist had been trying to convince Anne Marie to get up the nerve to tell Tom to just go away for good.
Yeah.
Anne Marie said she was frightened of Tom and that he had threatened to expose their relationship if she didn't stay with them. Well, that would be worse for him than for her. So I'd go ahead, motherfucker. I don't care. You're the one with 4 fucking kids to explain it to, not me.
Yeah.
You got a wife and 2 other girlfriends to explain this to, and all your law partners and the fucking governor of why you're tagging his
whole
fucking
life. Yeah.
Yeah. Guess what? If you go in and you're fucking the governor's scheduling chick, who's the governor going to be mad at? Not her.
Right.
Him.
Yeah.
Don't come in my office and try to bang my staff, you fucking scumbag.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a little bit different, but she took that as a threat. She didn't want to lose her job. She said it would leak. She didn't want her boyfriend to find out about it either.
Yeah. Right.
Her new boyfriend that she'd been going out with this married guy because she thought that he would dump her.
Sure.
So the therapist told the investigator that she thought that that was the only reason she would have gone to dinner with Tom, was to try to let him down easy so he would not. She's trying to ease off him so he doesn't freak out and
Slow
tell
break.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, 2 days after this, FBI agents and local detectives, this is later on in July, they go to his house, to Tom's house. They see the cheap new carpet, and they find bloodstains on the woodwork and radiator of the great room, the same room that the couch and carpeting had been taken. Yeah. So that's interesting. They also find a stain on the laundry room closet door near the container, right near the container of Carbona blood remover that I didn't even know that was a product that existed. Yeah. That sounds like something made up for our story, doesn't it?
Why would you ever have that in your house?
Got this blood remover, very specific. Yeah. Oh, I got that for, no, this is for blood. It says so.
I keep it next to the paint thinner and the rat poison and the antifreeze.
And the antifreeze. And a shitload of sleeping pills. I keep them all in the same place. They also found out that this Carbona blood remover had been purchased by Tom at Happy Harry's drugstore on June 30th, but a day and a half after Anne Marie disappeared.
Yeah.
They also, so the officers dig up his whole yard.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's go time now. They dig up his yard. They remove a toilet. They search his 1993 black Jeep Grand Cherokee and his 93 Chevy Suburban, but he wouldn't talk at all. He's got a lawyer who's the former Delaware Attorney General, Charles Oberly III. That's his lawyer.
Oh.
Not fucking around. His lawyer says publicly, quote, "They have zilch to connect my client to this."
No.
Zilch.
All right. Blood remover, man.
That's it. He told his friend, while this is all going on, that this would all blow over.
Yeah.
Is what he told. He said, quote, "Once Labor Day is over, this is going to go away. The Fahey's are nothing but white trash."
Jesus.
I don't know what difference that would make
in
the disappearance of a woman. It doesn't matter if her family's white trash or not. Whether they are or not are pretty irrelevant here.
They still deserve to be
They still
alive.
get looked for.
Yeah.
They don't just go, I don't know, we looked for her for a month. I don't know, her family's white trash. Moving on. The fucking FBI's involved. The president said, we'll got anything you need. I think they're going to look into this further, probably.
Their family wears NASCAR shirts. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know. It's over, man. I'm sorry. No, they watch sports in the front yard. It's really weird. That's their family.
Big Dick Trickle fans. It's not
big Dick
okay.
Trickle. Just drinking beer and watching sports in the front yard. They plug a fan in and have a fan blowing on them in the yard. It's really weird. That's a weird one I've seen with an indoor stand-up oscillating fan outside. I've seen people do that. And I'm like, That is white trash.
It's
I'm
not
sorry.
doing anything for you.
No.
Rakuten is the smartest way to save money when you shop because you earn cash back at over 3,500 stores. Fashion, beauty, electronics, home essentials, travel, dining, concert tickets, and more. Your favorite stores like Lowe's, Levi's, and Nike pay Rakuten to send them shoppers. And Rakuten then passes on a part of that payment to its members as cash back. You're already shopping at your favorite stores. Why not save while you're doing it? It's a no-brainer. Membership is free and easy to sign up. Get the Rakuten app now and join the 17 million members who are already saving. Cashback rates change daily. See Rakuten.com for details. That's Rakuten. Your cashback really adds up.
Escape reality and immerse yourself in a gripping tale of mystery, murder, and romance with June's Journey. Join June as she unravels the truth behind her sister's mysterious death and use your observation skills to find hidden clues and uncover dark secrets. Plus, you get to explore stunning hidden object scenes, from New York parlors to Parisian sidewalks, as each chapter reveals captivating mysteries. How sharp are your observation skills? Put them to the test in June's Journey. Download for free today on iOS and Android.
So September of 1996 comes around after Labor Day. They're still interested. The assistant U.S. attorney, Colm Connolly, convenes a grand jury, as a matter of fact. Yeah. So not only are they still interested, they're convening grand juries to investigate this. Yeah. In October, investigators talk with two more people that Tom Capano knows here. I guess Tom had moved in with his brother Louis and continues to keep a low profile here. Okay. So they talk about how now he has moved to his mother's house after that. So he ends up going from his brother's house to his mother's house after his house is essentially a fucking possible crime scene.
Right.
They even the FBI intercepts a cargo ship with blood that was headed to Europe that contained a pint of blood donated by Anne Marie Fahey so they could get her DNA because they don't have her body.
Oh, she donated it, and they were shipping it elsewhere, and they're like, stop that ship.
Stop that ship.
Wow.
You got to get on and get that one out of a whole cargo ship. They found a pint of blood. They had to pull it out.
And then you guys could go.
This is, back then, it wasn't enough. Like, the hairs had to have a big attached root.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't get DNA from people unless you had their body, really.
Right.
So this is the only way. Now they have blood, so they can try to match it.
Doesn't she have a fucking hairbrush, though?
The hairs had to be perfectly intact with all the roots intact.
One of them had to have come out that way, right?
She's pretty anal, though. I don't think she would even
Great
keep
point.
that
She may clean that motherfucker every
anal
day.
Annie every time. Yeah,
my God.
She's like Seinfeld when Newman goes, not even a hair in his brush. So clean. Trying to get a hair. So they do all of that. And DNA tests confirm that her blood matches the blood taken from the apartment.
On the radiator.
The apartment, I guess, meaning his place, I assume, because he rents it. So now they bring in different, but he said they had an affair. So there's, so
reasonable,
not enough yet. So they bring in members of his family. They ask his older brother, Louis, about the dumpsters that he had emptied early, and even question Tom's oldest daughter as well. To see if she knew anything. So the 1 year anniversary comes, and they still don't have enough, they don't think, to prosecute or to arrest him.
Really?
Because they don't have her body. They want her body. That's what they really want. They twice more call Louis up, who ran the family business. He ordered that 4 dumpsters be emptied ahead of schedule the weekend after the disappearance, obviously. Lou's second wife, pro golfer Lori Merton. Okay.
What?
I didn't expect that. A lady pro golfer to enter the fucking equation, but there she is.
In the mix with a guy who is accused of rape and kidnapping.
Yeah, no shit. She'd been called even before the grand jury to talk about secret taps she placed on the family phone to catch Lou with his mistress, Christy Pepper, who is that is the most mistress name you'll ever get. Christy if your name is Christy Pepper, no one will marry you. You are forever going to be someone's mistress.
Yeah, you will always be Christy Pepper. You're never getting a new last name.
You're Christy Pepper. I can't marry you. I'm sorry. It's just not in the cards. They even subpoenaed her. They subpoenaed Lou's son. They subpoenaed everybody. Nobody's saying shit, though.
No.
They got a real, it's a thing. They know not to talk, so that's good. Well, good for the family, but not good in this situation.
No, not good for justice.
No, not good for things to be right. Summer 1997 comes now, so it's been a year, and they're thinking about all of this. They're thinking about everything, and they're thinking, who's the weak link? Who can we fucking get to? They need a domino to fall here.
Yeah.
Okay, so October 1997. They know what happened here, but they need to prove it. They need to get somebody to talk about, because by getting rid of the body, it did throw a big wrench into the thing. No body, no crime.
Right.
People say that for a reason, because it's been a year of he obviously fucking did something with her. There's blood in his apartment, but no body, no crime.
All day.
Hey, Bob Marley. See, it comes up all the time. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Nobody, no crime. So they talked to his old friend. They talked to his old boss, the former governor. Yeah. They talked to his golfing buddies, everybody that you can imagine here. And they can't find anything here. The Secretary Susan Luth said she knew of the Fahey affair, and Debbie McIntyre said she didn't know until he told her. So they said, no. He's not going to go to them. He's not going to go to the women in his life, because he doesn't tell them enough. He doesn't want to be beholden to them. He wants to control them. He would go to his family, his brothers. That's where he'd go. Yeah. Guineas go to their family. Sure. That's what they said. So Jerry, who was a landscaper who made his living off the family construction company, they want to talk to him. He's a big game hunter with a big gun collection at home and a fishing boat. So they're like, he'd be the guy that could help.
Sure.
He's also got 2 kids, so he's got a lot to lose. So he's a guy they can put the fucking screws to. So they end up pulling into his driveway 8:30 at night with 25 federal agents and storm his house.
Shit.
To let him know it was serious and scare the shit out of him. They had search warrants and all that kind of thing. All this shit. They seized his arsenal of hunting rifles, shotguns, revolvers, that were left in an unlocked closet in the bedroom of his 3-year-old son, by the way.
He doesn't care about those kids.
Very nice. He's like, maybe one will shoot the other. That's ridiculous, because when the kid was a baby, they're like, well, we can keep him in there. He's an infant. He's not going to get the guns. But now he's 3. So put the guns in a safe. In his truck, they found about 2 grams of cocaine as well. So they're like, oh, good. Now we even have a charge on him. This is terrific.
He parties.
Yep, his friend was there. He had some weed as well. And in the laundry room, more coke.
Uh-oh.
So he likes to party here.
This isn't powdered Tide.
Yep. So they didn't arrest him or file charges at the time.
No.
Because it wasn't on his person, and they were like, it was plausible. Plus, they're trying to scare him.
Yeah.
They did come back a week later, though, with a state child welfare agency worker to investigate whether Gerard and his wife Michelle were fit to raise their 2 children in a house full of loose guns and cocaine.
Wildly loose guns.
This is it's like Pablo Escobar's house over here. This is insane.
If this house was on the water, these guns would be rattling all over the place.
Oh, everywhere, just all over the place. Yeah, if you had them all in a car going on a bumpy road, you're like, wow, there's a lot of guns in here.
They'd be bouncing.
So November 2nd, 1997, Jerry would tell the cops that, yes, he and Tom left Wilmington early Friday morning on June 28th, 1996, in Tom's Jeep. And this is his brother. He brought his lawyer in and everything. So his lawyer said, you better fucking talk to them, because you're in deep shit otherwise.
This ain't good.
They're just going to put it on you then. It's your boat. So he walked into the U.S. Attorney's office and tells this story, and he told them that it was locked and loaded with a lock. The cooler was the 5-foot-long cooler. They took it out. They dumped it. It wouldn't fucking sink. So he told that whole story, and I'm sure they got a good laugh out of that. What an fucking idiot he was. So he said that all he knew is it contained the body of someone who tried to hurt his big brother. So that's all he knew. That's it. So they said, okay, if you tell us everything, they're going to plea bargain him for a lesser charge than, accessory after the fact of murder.
Right.
And so he also tells how he helped his brother dispose of a blood-stained rug and sofa at the family construction firm. How Tom gave him a cover story if anyone started asking questions, and how he had one other thing to add also. He told his older brother Lou the whole story a year ago, so you can go fuck with him too.
Oh, God damn it.
Lou is the dumpster emptier there.
Uh-huh.
So November 10th, 97, Lou comes in and talks too.
I want to get back to my golf lady.
He said he begged his brother to turn himself in, but he knew nothing about Anne Marie or that he even had a relationship with her. His lawyer later announced that he would plead guilty to harassing a grand jury witness, which is a misdemeanor. Mm-hmm. So Tom's living with his mom at this point, and he wakes up in her house, and God,
it's all gone downhill already anyway.
Oh yeah, he's fucked. I mean, they tore up his whole backyard. Yeah. His house is a crime scene. So his lawyer was trying to arrange some kind of, I'll hand him in if you want to arrest him or whatever. But they said, oh no, they just pulled him over on the I-95 on the way to the airport with his brother Joseph and his brother's wife.
Where are you going?
Where are you going, Chief? Hey, what you got there? What you got? What you got in that suitcase?
Yeah.
Whoa. So they arrest him then for that because they're like, oh, we got to get him. He's fucking taking off. Outside, his lawyer says that his brother Jerry, made up the whole story and that Tom's pleading not guilty. Yeah. He said that Tom, who's now facing a potential death penalty here, just doesn't understand his brother's betrayal. He said, quote, how could he do this to me? How could he lie?
Well, okay.
Now, 2 days after he was arrested, the fisherman who fucking fished out that cooler said, oh, shit.
This might be this.
That's not good. With a bullet hole in the side? Fuck.
Oh,
how many giant coolers with bullet holes are floating around the ocean? Not as many as you'd imagine. We should turn this in. So they turn it over to the FBI.
Yeah.
As well. So the fisherman's name is Ken Chubb. And he realized it's the one. Yeah. Now, Deborah McIntyre, old Debbie Mac here.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
They've been talking to her. Oh, the horny one. They've been talking to her for a while, and she's been denying everything. She ends up cutting an immunity deal for herself all of a sudden.
Why? What does she know?
All of a sudden, she's like, hey, I need an immunity deal.
Did he come tell her everything?
Well, not quite, but she now says that she bought a .22 caliber Beretta pistol on May 13th, 96, and tells them that she gave it to Tom, who now she's telling the cops that, who accompanied her to Miller's Gun Center on US 13 near Newcastle and waited outside in his Jeep. So that's not good. Now she told the prosecutors that, and that's bad. So during the case here, his defense is trying to lay the groundwork right away, like in the public. They want the public to think he's a poor, innocent man here. So his lawyer is saying that, listen, jurors like to play detective, he says. Uh-huh. He says circumstantial evidence can be more devastating than eyewitness testimony because jurors like to play detective. Oh. They like to kind of
speculation,
extrapolate their own thing on there. So yeah, a little speculation. There's that. Her blood is in his house. He's the last person to be seen with her. Uh-huh. This is the defense attorney saying he's innocent. He's like, listen, his brother's saying he helped him dump a body. There's blood in his house. Yeah. Also the other brother's talking about dumping fucking dumpsters and shit like that. Yeah. This could be bad. And they're
selling swordfish. We get it. Yeah.
Yeah, we get it. He said, quote, if the brother testifies that he did certain things that the jury can view in any way as being a cover-up for homicide, even if he doesn't know for a fact that he killed Anne Marie, that's deadly evidence. The jury will take that and run with it. Gee, if she disappears on one day and that guy's the last person to be seen with them, and then a day later he's dumping a body in the ocean, they might put those two things together? I would fucking hope they would.
That's a fucking long shot, James.
Yeah, they're not going to. They're acting like now we're fucked. This isn't fair legal stuff. It's no, this is how the cases work, idiot. So they said without a body turning up, it's difficult, but not impossible. This is the prosecutor. Mm-hmm. No body, no crime, no problem, is what they say.
Right.
This is Robert Fahey again. He said, I think you have a guy who grew up in a very privileged environment and got everything he wanted all his life, and he couldn't have her. I think he probably hit her across the face, knocked her half out, kept beating her, and killed her. Jesus.
I mean, I think it was...
You don't even have a body.
You're right. I think he did... He threw a gun into the ocean. I think he shot her.
I think he shot her. That's what I'm going to think. And that'd be so much easier, too.
Yeah, I think he had a really minor argument dispute and then just beat her to death.
Yeah.
What?
It seems
what kind
above and beyond.
You made the man sound way worse than what I thought.
Yeah. That's wild.
Beat her to death.
Beat her to death. Just kept beating her and beating her. That's the brother. I get what he's feeling, but Jesus Christ, let's not speculate too much.
Yeah.
Anne-Marie's friend Kim said, this is somebody who was not completely in control of his emotions. I don't think she ever thought he could do harm to her. I would hope not. Otherwise, you wouldn't go.
Right. How would you spend any time with somebody?
Yeah. FBI Special Agent Eric Alpert wrote in the search warrant affidavit, quote, I believe there is probable cause to believe that Thomas Capano took Anne-Marie Fahey without her consent from the Panorama restaurant in Philadelphia to his home at 2302 Grant Avenue in Wilmington, Delaware, and that he killed her at his residence. All right. One of Tom Capano's friends said, I don't think people can go through 47 years of life caring for other people and then all of a sudden turn on a dime and do something so utterly contrary to the principle they've had for so long. Susan Louth, his girlfriend, one of his girlfriend, like 2B, we'll call her. I don't know. How do you rank them? She said, knowing Tom, there's no way he would have done something like that. He's one of the sweetest men I know.
Or she was just the hottest thing he could possibly get, and he didn't want to lose it.
Wow. His lawyer, though, Tom's lawyer, Charles M. Oberle III, the former Attorney General of Delaware, said he's got the best one. You might as well not even have a trial, honestly, at this point. He said, quote, he looked me in the eye and he told me he hadn't done anything. Oh, well, let's all go home then. What are we talking about? Thank you very much, everybody. That's been Small Town Murder. We'll see you next week.
Well, thank God he's innocent.
Good. Man, I was really worried about this.
Yeah.
So the Faheys, though, are still having problems, obviously. They're having an issue. The brother Robert's really pissed off at Tom, and he keeps coming back to the white trash comment because that became public.
Really?
He's real pissed. He said, Tom made a comment to a friend that he was not concerned by all the publicity back then because once Labor Day rolled around, this would all go away. Then he said the Faheys are nothing but white trash. Okay. So there you go. He said, so that's what he thinks, and blah, blah, blah. So they're trying to get through it, I guess. The brother, Brian, said, we don't admire them for arresting him. They said, aren't you happy they arrested him? Right. And he said, we don't admire them for it. We wish they'd have done it a lot sooner. They could have saved everybody, including our own family, a lot of heartache. The sister, well, they need evidence first before they can arrest people. Right. That's just how life is. I understand you want it immediately, but, you want him to be convicted, actually.
Sure.
That would help. Because if they arrested him too early and didn't have enough evidence and he got let go and all that, then everybody would be mad at that.
Yep.
So her sister said, I'm still numb. I think we all had a theory of how Anne-Marie was disposed, but once you hear the facts, it's gruesome to think your own sister had to that happen. It's just pretty disturbing. A weird way of putting it.
Had to have that happen.
Have to have that happen. So another thing here is Brian said to find out that Anne-Marie's murder may have been premeditated is pretty troubling. Talking about the gun and the cooler. He allegedly planned and carried this out in cold blood. So everybody's a little bit pissed off. Yeah. They said that the Fahey family said they haven't discussed whether they'd like to see him face the death penalty, but the brothers Robert said the harshest penalty brought, we'd support. Okay. And they said, we don't believe Tom Capano will walk. And they also said, hey, what if Jerry Capano, who helped dispose of this body, avoids prosecution due to cooperation? And they said, if that's the price of doing business, we'll be happy. In other words, we don't think he killed our sister, so that's fine. Fuck him. We're concerned about this other asshole. Okay. Now, 1998 is the trial. So 2 years after the murder is the trial.
Yeah.
In the openings, the prosecutor, Ferris W. Wharton.
Yeah.
Wow, that is some kind of name there.
I've never heard of anybody named Ferris other than Bueller.
He sounds like he's going to replace Willy Wonka if he ever retires. It's going to become the Ferris W. Wharton fucking chocolate factory at that point. Really weird. Now, the defense, they got a lot to explain here.
You're not kidding.
They got a lot of explaining to do here. So the lead attorney, Joseph S. O'Terry, said that only one other person who was inside Capano's house that night knows what happened when she died. Mm-hmm. He's saying there's another person. There was 3 people there that night.
Really?
He said, "You're going to hear testimony that Tom did not murder her, or that did not murder her. She died as a result of an outrageous, horrible, tragic accident." Yeah. Okay. He asked the jurors not to be revolted by the sea burial. How are you not going to be revolted by that?
Right.
Don't be revolted by the 2 dumbest people in the world doing a dumb, horrible, disgusting thing.
Yeah.
But instead, accept his explanation that he later deceived friends and authorities to protect himself. Mm-hmm. He said, Tom lied to everyone except one person who knows the horrible truth. He said, but nothing about just taking her out to the ocean and dumping her proves that he killed her. Nothing. That doesn't prove anything. Because you dump people you find, all the time we hear that. You stumble across a body in the woods, you take it out to the ocean, you dump it. That's just how it works.
Nothing except dumping her proves he did it. Okay.
Yep.
I mean, yeah.
Wow. And he said the cooler wasn't a coffin. The cooler was intended as a gift for Jerry, for his boat, for fishing.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Let me borrow your boat. I bought you a cooler.
Then he says this. I love when they try the defense of, he's a smart guy. There's no way he'd be that stupid. That's a terrible defense. And lawyers use it all the time. He said if Tom Capano wanted to put Fahey in a cooler, he wouldn't have bought it at the Wilmington area store using his credit card. No. He said, Tom Capano's a bright guy. That's insanity. He's too smart for that. What are we thinking?
I don't know. Tom Capano didn't think that you'd understand that this was big enough to fit a body in it.
No, fucking shit. He also attacks Jerry, Tom's brother, Debbie McIntyre, his mistress. The lawyer said that Jerry, the youngest of the brothers here, developed, he said that his family called him a booze hound with a brain like a fried egg from cocaine, marijuana, and LSD use.
Hell yeah.
Brain like a fried egg. That's in the record forever. He said he's a typical screwed up rich kid who's never earned anything in his life. He's a poster boy for the me generation.
This is your brain on drugs, Jerry.
If that was the me generation, what the fuck would this one be?
Yeah.
Because the me generation didn't make videos and take pictures of themselves every 5 fucking seconds.
This one is
so
the
then what would happen?
Me.
Yeah. me.
Generation.
So they also focused on Jerry's account, saying that, it's all bullshit, that he didn't plan this. This is crazy. Okay. What are you talking about? He said he actually only talked to Gerard about these 2 extortionists, and that's what they'll tell you. But he said that whole thing was a figment of Jerry's imagination.
Oh?
That never even happened. They said Thomas borrowed $8,000 from Jerry one month. Jerry, the one who asked if someone was shaking him down because he needed $8,000, Tom agreed to appease Jerry, who fancied himself a gangster. He said Jerry thought of himself as a tough guy, so he said, yeah, that'll make him feel good if I tell him about extortionists.
Yeah.
He also said that Jerry suffers from confabulation.
Oh, there's that word again.
There it is, where he fills in gaps in his memory with fictitious events.
Yeah, he just makes it up.
Makes shit up to make it funnier.
To make it work.
Make it work for him. So Jerry here, because they're saying he was threatened with gun and drug charges. That's the only reason he's testifying, so he can get leniency on his disgusting ways. They also said that they described Tom as Fahey's confidant, a gentleman who helped her deal with anorexia, gave her money when she was broke, and took her out on friendly dinners almost every week until she died. Yeah. Just a mentor, like a little league coach, pretty much. Yeah. We have no intention of besmirching Anne-Marie Fahey, but she was not an 18-year-old kid just out of high school. That is true. Yeah. He described her as a worldly woman who had traveled to Spain, worked in Washington, D.C., quote, that cesspool, Washington, D.C.
Shit.
For then Congressman Thomas R. Carper. Then he said about Deborah McIntyre, she lied 5 times to investigators before striking an immunity deal. You can't trust her. He concluded his remarks by urging the jury to give his client the presumption of innocence, calling it one of the foundations of American democracy. He said, please, I beg of you, don't forget that.
Yeah.
A lot of begging here. Fahey's family, her brother, said of the lawyer, quote, he's in the gutter.
Yeah.
The lawyer's in the gutter. Now, witnesses here, they call Brian. They call a couple of female aides from the governor's office, and they call the waitress at Panorama who served them dinner that night.
Talking about the sullen swordfish.
That's it, sullen swordfish. Now, Brian, a fifth-grade teacher, that's her brother, described his sister as a neat freak who, despite emotional problems and an eating disorder, made great strides from her troubled childhood.
Yep.
He said he saw his sister with a new boyfriend, the MBNA Corporation executive, Michael Scanlon, 6 days before she disappeared, and they were happy and holding hands. Now, defense attorney asked Fahey if he recalled his sister having a bad temper.
Yeah.
He said no, but then after being asked by O'Terry if he had heard stories about his sister once hitting their father with a hockey stick.
And what does that prove?
That, well, they're trying to build a thing of this is what actually happened that night. So they're saying
maybe she whacked him with a hockey stick. You don't know.
Well, they're trying to say that the prosecution's saying she's this innocent, young, helpless girl, and in reality, she's worldly, and she went to Spain and worked for a guy in Washington for a year and hit her drunken fucking Irish father with a hockey stick. So that means that, she's perfectly fair to murder at that point. So
she may have instigated it. She had a somber swordfish. She may have smacked him with it. You don't know.
You never know.
We weren't there.
You never know. We have no idea how it went down. We can't know. So the brother also said he knew his sister ate lunch with Tom twice, but like the rest of everybody in the family, didn't know about the affair until after she disappeared.
Oh.
And was asked about it by the cops. The governor's secretary in 1996 testifies, a couple of them actually, a secretary and the governor's office manager.
Yeah.
Both said that Fahey was in an upbeat mood on June 27th, preparing for a Friday off where she was going to get a massage, a pedicure, a manicure, and then read in the park. That was her plan for the next day. Yeah. Under cross-examination, both said they were unaware Fahey and Tom were going to dinner that night and that they didn't know whether that was why she seemed happy. Maybe that's why. They also said, the waitress, the server, said that Capano and Fahey didn't speak throughout dinner.
Really?
Which she described as somber and quiet.
That is a weird dinner.
That's a weird dinner, and that Tom ordered her meal and drink without consulting her. Well, unless you were there the whole time. You don't know if she said, I want the swordfish. We don't know that. That's crazy. So the waitress also said that she boxed up their entire main courses, which were barely touched.
Oh.
They just sat there in discomfort until they said, do you want us to wrap that
staring
for you,
at each other, staring at their food.
Staring at a 90% full piece of swordfish.
Right, pushing capers around your plate.
Ugh, disgusting. So the Fahey, they said, was dressed up in a flower print dress, and the waitress noticed this because most of the women in there wore more of like the black and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The server said she looked haggard, gaunt, her hair was unkempt, she looked tired.
What a thing to say about
Jesus
somebody.
Christ. Sounds like they sent her through the spin cycle once and got her out and sat her down at fucking dinner. That's bad. Tom, the lady said, was wearing tinted eyeglasses that were, quote, not something I would have chosen for myself. This waitress is just a bitch.
She is giving some really vicious visual reviews.
She looked like shit. Her dress was ugly, and those tints. I mean, dude, seriously, fuck you. You're a fucking server. I've been a server plenty. You don't think you're at the top of the fucking food chain, so I don't know who you think you are.
His tinted, I would have
down.
chosen them, but
not for me. Now, under cross-examination here, the waitress had a little bit less to say. She said that of the 2 hours that they were in the restaurant, they were there for 2 hours, by the way. She observed them for only about 15 minutes out of 2 hours. And could, obviously, she said they could have spoken and anything could have happened when she wasn't watching, obviously. Yeah. She also said she'd never seen them before and didn't know what their normal appearance was either.
That may have just been what they look like all the time.
That's the thing. Yeah. But she did add her hair wasn't kempt by any standards, is what she said. Okay, so no matter what, her hair was fucked up. So
Maybe she had a long day. She lives 40 minutes
yeah.
from here. Maybe she
She
drove
needed
here
to get her due
with the
done.
window
no
down.
matter what. I was just going to say, maybe the window is down.
Yeah.
It's a June night.
Right.
You drive with the window down sometimes. So they get Jerry to testify, the brother, and he has to tell about how he watched a foot sink into the sea.
Yikes.
That's not good after a corpse was weighed down with anchors. Jerry said, quote, I was telling him, this isn't right. This is wrong. That's what he testified. So his brother Lou cries on the stand here. Breaks down on the stand. He's testifying for the prosecution. He began crying as he recalled 2 occasions in which he had tried to get his brother Tom to tell the authorities the truth for the sake of the family.
Yeah.
Do it for the sake of the family, Tom. For Christ's sake.
You're going to ruin our construction business.
The sake of the family. At the second meeting, he said both he and another brother, Jerry, told Tom to go to the police or they would. Okay. Now, Lou did not go to the police then because he said Tom convinced us not to and told us if the situation was reversed, he'd do the same for us, which that's the thing.
Yeah.
Hey, I'd help you bury a fucking body. Help me.
This is your responsibility now.
What, you never fucked up before? Help me out here. What the hell? So a lawyer for Capano, one of the lawyers, attacked different versions of events that Louis gave to prosecutors, including lies he admitted telling to the grand jury before reaching a deal to testify. So they're trying to put his pre-deal, I don't know anything lies to the test here. Lou said his brother Tom called him on June 30th and told him that Anne-Marie was missing. He said Tom told him that she would probably return to work on Monday, but that she tried to cut her wrists on his sofa on the previous Thursday, and he wanted to get rid of the sofa.
Oh, so she was suicidal in that room.
That's what he's saying. Yeah, they say that's where the blood came from.
But the house cleaner said 2 days before it was fine.
5 days before
5
it was
days.
fine.
Okay,
the Thursday of the actual murder, he's saying that she tried to cut his wrists on his couch. So Lou said that Tom also told him that the cuts were superficial and that after bandaging them, Tom had taken her home and never seen her again. So Debbie McIntyre comes up on the stand, and they get right into all of their weird sex stuff. They're like, you'd do anything for Tom, wouldn't you? Yeah.
I need your
guess.
sex life in public record. So
they said even perform oral sex on one of his friends while he watches.
Oh God, shit! What'd she say?
Yes. Yeah, I did that. Yeah,
shit.
That's what happened. Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
She said that, Delaware's his friend and Delaware's chief deputy attorney general, Keith Brady.
Oh, God.
Admitted they had a sexual encounter in her house while Tom sat naked in the living room watching.
He's a cuck.
He's a cuck. He likes that. He likes to watch his friend, the chief deputy attorney general of Delaware, plow his girlfriend. What the fuck?
Holy shit. Put it on public record. This is forever our information.
We're putting it out. This will be out there for the rest of eternity. So even if you don't find the court document, this is here.
This is a 70-year-old woman today.
She's like, yeah, I sucked him while he gave it to me from the back. What do you want from me? Well, she takes Geritol.
Oh, shit.
Well, she reads Modern Maturity magazine.
She's reading Reader's Digest and taking a poop.
I've traded in my threesome days for my fucking for that yogurt that makes Jamie Lee Curtis poop. That's what I have. Now get out of here. There's a nice article in the Digest.
Shit. This poor lady.
Both McIntyre and Brady said it did take place about 5 years ago, but it was all Tom's idea.
Yeah. We were held at gunpoint.
To fuck each other. You two fuck each other now.
Well, he said to do it. Shit.
Suck his dick. Enjoy that dick. Enjoy your blowjob. That's right.
It's his idea.
He's very bossy. That's how it goes. She said she didn't want to perform oral sex on Brady, but she did it because of Tom. Yeah. She said, quote, he wanted me to. I was afraid if I didn't do it, he would get angry and leave me. This poor woman has very
Lord.
insecure. Holy shit.
He's not even with you.
During all this, she kept looking at him and smiling, too. Like, I love him.
Yeah.
Smiling. He's a great guy. Wow. And 10 years ago, she had sex with another man so Tom could watch through a window of her house.
Gee.
That's even weirder than being in the living room.
Yeah,
I'm going to pretend I'm a peeping Tom now?
Right.
What the fuck is that? She said, I loved him. He cared for me, listened to me, enjoyed my company, and made me feel good about myself. I did what he wanted, oftentimes compromising what was best for me. Now, as Capano was led away from the courthouse after that day's testimony, he turned to a TV camera and they asked him about, what do you think about Debbie McIntyre's testimony? And said, quote, she broke my heart.
She told everybody.
You broke my heart, Fredo. And then they go out in a boat and shoot Fredo. It's all too fucking intertwined.
It's too much, man. You can't
It's too
say that
much.
shit.
You can't say it. That is fucking wild. And it was the first time he said anything to the press, by the way. She broke my heart. Prosecutors are painting him as a master manipulator, control freak, preys on the weak and insecure, obviously. A former administrator at a school in Wilmington testified that that's McIntyre, brought a gun and gave it to him in May, a month before. She said she never saw the gun again, and she said that she bought the gun because she was afraid Tom would leave her if she didn't. So anything that she does that's not, again, exactly what he wants, he'll leave her. Meanwhile, they've been together for 15 years.
Right. Where's he going?
Where's he going? Yeah, I think he's kind of locked in here. Yeah. She said she only did that because of that, and even though she knew it was illegal to buy a gun in her name and then give it to somebody else. As a matter of fact, she actually went to one place and during the purchase of the gun told the guy, I'm just buying it for somebody else, and they refused to sell it to her.
Yeah, you can't do it.
So she had to go to another gun store and buy it and say, it's for me, and then give it to him.
Yeah.
Not say it. Yeah, she fucked up. So Keith Brady, the blowjob guy, he's, by the way, the number 2 person in charge of Delaware's criminal prosecutions at the time.
And that's the guy you're getting blowjobs for.
Yeah. He said, how did this day start? You might wonder, how does a day start where you take a friend home and have your girlfriend blow him? Well, it starts by playing golf together.
Okay, yeah.
They played golf, and they've been friends since 1990 when Capano was head legal counsel for the governor, and Brady was his assistant. So they used to work together. He used to be his boss, Tom. So they said after the game, Brady says, they went to Debbie McIntyre's house and had some drinks, and then McIntyre and Tom started graphically talking about sex in front of him. Jeez, this was a planned thing they have.
That's what they like.
Yeah, I'm going to bring this guy here later, and we're going to get this is a whole plan if they just started talking about sex. McIntyre said Tom left Brady and went into the living room. McIntyre and Tom left Brady and went into the living room to have sex and watch porn movies.
While he's in the house.
While he's in the house.
We're going to go in the living room and fuck with porn on.
By the way, the reporter describes Brady on the stand, quote, Brady spoke in a monotone, but he stuttered and squirmed in his chair as he detailed the sexcapade. Yeah, he holds public office. It's like, fuck. So here's another line from an article. During a brutal cross-examination by defense lawyer Joseph O'Terry, Brady said when he followed the twosome into the room, McIntyre stopped what she was doing with Capano and turned her attentions to him. Jesus. If you not only heard porn playing, but then people fucking, you don't walk into that room unless you want to see people fucking and maybe join them.
I wonder if I fuck in there.
Yeah, you stay in the living room and turn the TV up to like 55. That's what you do. I don't want to hear this.
Or you put your shoes on and get the fuck out.
Yeah. Now, this cannot get more embarrassing for Brady, can it?
Not
honestly?
Much more, no.
Well, let's put the cherry on top. She turns her attentions toward him, and he says on the stand, quote, Deborah McIntyre attempted to arouse me by performing oral sex on me, but I could not achieve an erection.
No!
So this cannot get worse for him. The only thing it would get worse is that I finally did and I came in 4 seconds. Would be the only way this could get more embarrassing. What the fuck?
That's him trying to save his marriage, right? Saying like,
I have no idea.
I only have eyes for one woman and they're my wife.
Or golf makes his dick limp. I don't know. Either way. They asked him, were you fully clothed?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, this is great. My recollection is unclear. What are you, in the mafia?
My zipper was down. My penis was out of my zipper.
Well, no. Then he said, I may not have been.
No, you were not.
Yeah, you came in, you took he's acting like he wandered in there like, hey, guys, what you doing? And then she just unzipped him and started sucking on him. Meanwhile, they're like, you went in there with your pants off, didn't you? Because you all planned this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He insisted he didn't want to be there and wasn't turned on by any of this.
Yeah.
He said, I'm ashamed I was there. I'm extremely remorseful for the anguish I've caused my wife, my children, and my parents. Wow.
I'm even more ashamed that I'm here.
And then the article goes on to say, Brady didn't meet anyone's eyes as he quickly strode out of the courtroom with his back straight. And his dick limp. Absolutely.
The only thing straight on him was his back.
Back stiff and dick limp. It's at that point when his boss, the Delaware Attorney General Jane Brady, with whom he's not related, by the way, just happens to be a coincidence, said in the statement that Keith's taken an undetermined amount of time off. It's the next day. Keith is taking some time off to be with his family at this most difficult time. That is and should be his first priority, and our thoughts are with him and his family. I will discuss any matters related to the office with him after he's satisfied. Don't use the word satisfied.
I don't think that's ever happening.
No. She might as well say once he gets his stuff straightened out. She might as well say that, too. Just really make it bad. Satisfied he has done what he needs to do to address his personal life. Yeah. Once he gets an affairs in order, straightens out his life, and is satisfied with everything. God damn it. So now it's the defense's turn. Mm-hmm. What could your fucking defense be? Your brother said he watched a foot go into the fucking water that you brought there. It's not good.
And you've just ruined a man's career.
You destroyed her, embarrassed the school administrator. It's all a mess, man. So the defense, their thing is, Debbie did it.
Debbie killed herself.
That's what happened. No,
Debbie killed
Anne-Marie.
Anne-Marie, right.
Yep,
okay.
Debbie McIntyre
she's jealous,
did it.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep, McIntyre, when they asked her on the stand, denied her role in it when asked by the defense there. But then when it's the defense's turn, they said, quote, you deny you discharged that firearm, meaning the one that she gave to him. Right. She said, I don't know what happened to that firearm. I'm absolutely certain about that. I'm certain I don't know. Mm-hmm. So the defense said that one other person was in the resident that was home that night and knows the whole story, and it's her.
Oh.
So, yep. They said, so you admitted you had lied in front of a grand jury. You did all this stuff. You gave him a gun that God knows where that is. That's what you claim. You bought the gun that's possibly the murder weapon, and quote, and now you're scot-free, huh?
Yeah.
And she said, I'm fortunate. I sucked a lot of dick to be in this chair, so listen, I don't know if scot-free is really the words I'd use, but
I don't know if I'd be using that word either, because I had to suck dicks to be here.
Yeah, I had to suck a lot of dicks
in front of people.
No,
yeah.
They said they say that she didn't tell investigators about the Sports Authority visit until March, a month after she became a prosecution witness, and says she told the prosecutors the truth. They said, well, why didn't you tell them about the gun? She said, quote, I wasn't asked. Which is really
that's on you, not me.
That sounds pretty bad to say that. Many things evolved in this case. I was very nervous. I answered the questions that were asked. I was not thinking about the Sports Authority. I was thinking about Miller's gun shop.
Yeah.
Oh, because that was Sports Authority was where she was rejected.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. He goes there a lot. He's a hell of a shopper at Sports Authority.
He loves it. Oh yeah. Coolers and guns. They got it all.
He's buying it all.
Shh. She did say that she suppressed many of the details about the case until this year.
Yeah.
Didn't lie. Suppressed.
I just didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to remember.
Holding it down a little bit. The lawyer said, you're not trying to make the story better by embellishing it. And she said, no, that's an incorrect statement on your part.
Oh.
She's a snotty one. So McIntyre insisted that it wasn't until January she realized the gun she bought could be linked to the death, even though she says Tom asked her to lie about it. Mm-hmm. She said, quote, I was so focused on telling the story for Tom, I never thought of the ramifications of a murder weapon. You never thought of that.
Fuck.
Get the fuck out of here. They also grilled her about letters she wrote to Tom in prison earlier this year before she came a witness, before that all happened. On February 1st, as Tom was asking her to testify at his bail hearing, she wrote that she didn't want to. She said, by going, it exposes me in our relationship and who knows what else. So she wanted to keep shit private. She had no idea how not private all this shit was going to be.
Right. This is going to be so public.
2 comedians are going to be laughing at your blowjob soon. That sucks.
I bet she didn't even think about this ever being on court documents while she was balls deep.
No, never. Who thinks about
face.
that? Never, ever.
Oh,
you can't.
boy.
So they said, she said, yeah, it exposes our relationship and who knows what else. They asked her, what did you mean by what else? Asking if that could be the gun because prosecutors already knew about her lies. And she said nothing specific.
You know,
so
Brady's dick.
Yeah, none of that. No dicks and balls and limp cocks in her face. He asked her about her actions on the day that Anne Marie died, implying they showed guilt. That included a 6:45 a.m. phone call to Tom's house. How would she know to call his house at 6:45 a.m.? A conversation with him at Tower Hills School's track about an hour later, and a 1-minute phone call he made to her at 10:31 a.m. from Stone Harbor, New Jersey, as he prepared to dump the body with his brother that morning.
Oh.
McIntyre said she made the 6:45 phone call because Tom asked her for unspecified help that morning. She said that Tom routinely called her at mid-morning for a short chat and that she did not know about Anne-Marie, her death, or where he was. Okay. They suggested that the phone call was to tell her everything was going fine with what he was doing, and she said no. Then she admitted she was extremely upset when she learned about Fahey, but she said she didn't know about it till later, and they said, you knew about it the night she died, didn't you? And she said, no, Mr. Moore, I never learned about Anne-Marie Fahey until July 2nd.
Okay.
And they said, didn't you have your firearm at Tom Capano's house on June 28th, 1996, when you first learned about him and Anne-Marie? And she said, no, I did not. And they said, you deny you discharged that firearm. She said, I deny that I discharged that firearm. He pressed her about why didn't she tell investigators until the summer that Tom yelled at her for leaving a message on his voicemail at 10:30 p.m. on June 27th. And they said, quote, is that one of these visions that came to you? And she said, that is correct. So now, if she didn't want to be embarrassed was the whole point. So now her entire sex life and the fact that she believes in her visions is all out there in public. He also asked her why she waited until after she became a witness to tell police that he told her late night he needed help in the morning. And they said, another vision that came to you from nowhere, huh?
Right.
And she said, correct.
Yeah, you got it.
You're not embarrassed at all. Right at that point, Tom, who has colitis, asked for a recess to use the bathroom.
I've got diarrhea.
He was in there for an hour.
Yeah, that sucks.
He was shitting for an hour.
Oh, God damn it.
This is maybe the worst day of a human's life, other than being murdered, I would say.
His
Having all your
colitis
shit.
diagnosis is now public record.
He's a cucky colitis asshole. A cucky colitis kook is what he is. So an hour later, cucky colitis kook, that's a good title for him. An hour later, he comes back in. They said, quote, with a pained and ashen look on his face.
Yeah.
Yeah. As he sat down at the table, his lawyer went in here, back into the Debbie McIntyre cross-examination about a letter she had written explaining why she wasn't testifying at the bail hearing. And reading from the letter, McIntyre said, I had to back out to avoid getting in a terrible position. Jesus Christ, all the sexual innuendo. So the lawyer for McIntyre said that his client was prepared. Quote, it was certainly expected, and her testimony speaks for itself. That's her lawyer said that. Now, prison psychiatrist testifies about Capano, who she treated in prison. And she said she knew Capano, whom she treated in prison, and Fahey, whom she only knew through what she called a psychological autopsy, the reading of her writings. You can't diagnose someone you don't
It's a
treat.
psychological. I can't do that.
That's weird. She characterized, she can give fun speculation on shit like that, but that's about it. She characterized their relationship as warm and nurturing, the exact opposite of the prosecutor's picture of Tom as a manipulator. This psychiatrist also said She's a neuropsychiatrist, also testified that the brother Jerry might suffer from drug-induced dementia, and that Jerry, a longtime drug user, testified that he helped his brother dispose of the body. She said that she never examined him, Jerry, of course.
I've only diagnosed it from sitting here.
But said that his testimony indicates he has long and short-term memory loss and a tendency to confabulate as well. She also spoke of what she called Capano's deteriorating physical and mental condition since he was arrested and imprisoned. He's now on multiple antidepressants, having a hard time sleeping. Oh, poor guy. He's in a cot with prison. Yeah, that's what prison is. And coping with the near isolation of his confinement. And she said she was considering having him sent to a psychiatric hospital. Yeah. That's right. They said Capano was fighting with his attorneys over the fact that he continued to write Debbie McIntyre, who eventually agreed to testify against him. They're like, she's going to testify against you. Stop writing to her. Yeah. And he kept doing it. He was beside himself over the prospect of seeing her in court and said he couldn't stand it if she wanted nothing more to do with him. She said it was compulsion. He could not let go of that relationship. He felt very emotionally tied to her.
Right.
Okay. Tom testifies.
Attaboy.
He has to. He has to. He has no choice.
This is awesome.
He said that Anne Marie was dead lying on the floor in his house with a bullet in her head, and it was Debbie who shot her in a jealous rage.
Oh, really?
He's covering for Debbie the whole time. Yep. He says that Debbie was threatening suicide with a gun. She had a gun up and was threatening suicide when he reached for her gun, and at that point, a shot was fired, and it went into her head from across the room.
It was an accident.
Total, just what the lawyer said, a crazy, horrible accident. That's what she says. They said, well, did you call the paramedics or police? And he said, no, I couldn't do it. He said, I'd have to get rid of the body because otherwise this is going to be terrible for everyone involved. I'm the governor's attorney and blah, 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 the former this and that, my family. And
she's an administrator.
He said also, I was protecting my lover, Debbie McIntyre, who I've been with for 15 years.
He is literally trying to get away with murder and maintain the sexual relationship.
While blaming her.
Yeah.
He wants to blame her for murder and still fuck her. That's what he's hoping to pull out of
That's good
this.
sex, man.
Wow, this guy, oof. Yikes. He said, I was going to attempt to keep this hidden and I was going to bury the cooler with Anne Marie in it. So he said to selfishly protect myself and to unselfishly protect Debbie. Just the goodness of my heart. He said he wrapped her body, Anne Marie's body, in a blanket, put her in a large cooler from his basement. Later, he said that Debbie returned to his home and helped him roll up the blood-stained rug and take the cooler to the garage. Then early the next day, he said he drove to his brother Gerard's home, asking for the keys to the boat. He said his brother refused, knowing that Tom didn't know how to do anything with boats. He said, he asked me if I was in trouble, and I said, yes, but I'll handle it. But Jerry still wouldn't give him the keys and insisted on helping because he said, I'll drive the boat. Okay. So obviously a way different story than his brother told or that she told or, anything like that. So Tom said that he and Jerry took the cooler to New Jersey, Stone Harbor, New Jersey, put it on the boat. They motored out to sea for hours before throwing the cooler overboard. They thought it would sink. It didn't. He said that's when Jerry shot it. But even after Jerry shot it, it still wouldn't sink.
Yeah.
So that's when Jerry gave his brother the anchors to weigh down the body and then went to another part of the boat. He said on the drive back, they discussed alibis, saying he had only gone to Stone Harbor that day to discuss business. He also testifies Debbie had dropped the .22 caliber Beretta pistol on the floor of his home after the shooting. But then in his testimony, he says Debbie either gave him the gun or took it away, but he doesn't remember. So, he said that he needed Debbie to help carry the cooler, holding the body down a flight of stairs because he couldn't handle the load by himself. But later on in the testimony, he said before Jerry agreed to help with the sea burial, he planned to load the cooler into his car and later into the boat by himself.
Oh.
And also, he only borrowed $8,000 from his brother Jerry in February because he had withdrawn $8,000 and $9,000 days earlier and thought the teller might be suspicious. But they ended up producing canceled checks showing Tom got money from Jerry before the second withdrawal, and Tom said he used $25,000 in a failed attempt to shock Fahey into entering treatment for anorexia.
Oh.
trying to give her money to go to treatment.
Yeah.
He ended his direct testimony there by answering the question, did you murder Anne Marie Fahey? And he said, no, 1,000 times no. I loved Anne Marie Fahey.
Okay.
Yeah. On cross, they weren't that nice. Now, first
go.
of all, for Cross, he's got a thick stubble on his face because the prison ran out of razors, so he couldn't shave.
Shit.
How about give them to the people who have court that day first, and then everybody else gets them after that? Yeah, because that doesn't look good for a jury, honestly. That's something you could bring up in an appeal even. Yeah. They made me look like a fucking, like a swarthy asshole.
Like a lunatic.
Especially, they made me look like a typical shadowy,
right.
fucking, beard, half beard on my face.
There's a way to have
bodies.
Right. There's a way to have a classy stubble where you look good. The neck beard does not look good.
That wasn't good for him. So they asked him. Since June 28th, 1996, how many crimes have you committed?
Oh God.
He didn't know what to reply. So they asked him how many lies he told to cover up the disappearance. He said he didn't know and agreed there were too many to count. So they also bring up a gun. Okay. They bring up a case that they said, you got the idea to throw Fahey's body into the ocean and dispose of the gun from Robert Squeaky Sanders. Sanders and accomplices dumped Joseph Spoon Johnson in a creek near Delaware City, but floodgates kept the corpse from reaching the river. Johnson was shot behind the ear, just as Tom claims Fahey was accidentally shot by the gun. The gun that killed Johnson in that Lowther case was taken apart, disposed of in pieces, and never found. Tom testified he put the gun in a cooler with the body and then dumped it in the ocean. They said this case has striking similarities to that case. He denied he said, no, there's no connection. But then the guy said, didn't you make the closing arguments in that case?
Oh, no.
Because Tom said, I'm unfamiliar with that case. And he said, actually, you made the closing arguments in that case and showed him the transcript. So they read excerpts from the transcript, and Capano said he couldn't recall what he had said a day ago, never mind 22 years ago. I don't fucking know what he said.
Oh,
wow, that
Jesus.
is wild. That is fucking interesting. So they said also, Capano was agitated when Connolly talked about a phone call Tom made to the secretary of Chief Deputy Attorney General Keith Brady at 8 a.m. the morning following the death. He's real close with that guy. Tom left a message for Brady, checking his availability for drinks that night. He's on his way to dump a body. Hey, what are we doing tonight?
Wow. Do you want to come over and meet me over at fucking McIntyre's house?
What do you think? Yeah. Gee, come on to Debbie's. The prosecutor said, this is less than 10 hours after the death of Anne Marie Fahey, whom you deeply loved, so you say. He said, no, 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 no. 7 no's. Tom said, I will play your games, but not this one. I did deeply love Anne Marie Fahey. You didn't even know her.
Okay,
well, I didn't kill her either.
Yeah,
so
but you definitely fucked Debbie the next night.
That's what they keep saying.
And you called Brady to have drinks that night while you're just wow.
Incredibly callous here. He said that she just Debbie burst into the room 11 p.m. June 27th and just fucking burst into the great room of his house where him and Anne-Marie were watching television. Right. At first they were startled. He said, but Anne-Marie stayed seated. They said she didn't jump up or flee or anything like that. Instead, she just put on her pantyhose, which she had removed earlier, and her shoes. And they said, Anne-Marie's not frightened. And he said, no, you don't know Anne-Marie. The gun wasn't pointed at her anyway. A crazy lady bursts in waving a gun around. Everybody's uncomfortable. She's not just like, oh, that's cool, and starts eating Doritos.
Starts putting on her fucking legs. Nobody's doing that.
Oh, my God. And he also says, you're asking me about something that happened so long ago and that I've tried not to think about. You better fucking think about it.
You've somehow suppressed one of the fucking craziest nights you've ever had?
It's crazy. They go over a lot of stuff with the money and all that stuff, and it's a lot. So the verdict comes in. You've heard from everybody.
Yeah.
Verdict is, what do you think here, Jimmy?
There's no fucking way he's found innocent. There's no way.
Guilty of first-degree murder for Mr. Tom. Now, the sentencing, he can get the death penalty for this or life in prison.
Yeah, but
so the sentence of death is recommended by a 10-2 vote of the jury here.
Wow.
But under Delaware state law, the jury's recommendation can carry weight, but the decision is on the judge at the end of the day.
Yeah.
His other option is life without parole. The judge said this. This is a good "you, sir, may fuck off." The defendant fully expected to get away with murder, and were it not for his own arrogance and controlling nature, may well have succeeded. He said, he's a malignant force, an angry, sinister, controlling, malignant force which dominated this courtroom for months. He then picked apart his demeanor. He said he criticized him for attempting to use his family as a shield against prosecution, belittled him for his constant attempts to shift blame to others, mocked him for the way he would rant and raged about prosecutorial tactics, chided him for berating and bullying his own defense attorneys, whose advice and counsel he continually ignored. He said no one except the defendant will ever know exactly how or why Anne Marie Fahey died. By all accounts, she had ceased to be the defendant's lover, but had never escaped his sphere of influence, control, and manipulation. The defendant has no one to blame for the circumstances he finds himself in today, except himself.
Oh, boy.
He then called him a ruthless murderer and said his only remorse is for himself. You, sir, may fuck off. Death penalty.
Holy.
Eat all the dicks.
Nobody death penalty.
Death penalty. Yep.
Wow.
The family's happy. They said the sentence is not something that should be celebrated because it's not going to bring the sister back. Right. So they're just happy he's not going to be able to do it to anyone else. They're very reasonable, this family. Yeah. They're not like, hang him in the public square. They're like, in jail forever or death, just as long as he can't hurt anybody. That's fine. And not going to bring my sister back, which is the correct way. 2001, so 99 was the case, was the trial. 2001, a movie comes out, TV miniseries starring Mark Harmon and Olivia Dukakis.
Really?
Mark Harmon plays Tom.
Who'd Olivia play?
I done one of the other ladies. Maybe his wife, possibly. At the time.
I hope she played McIntyre. Just
she might have played his mom. She might have played his mom.
Oh, you're probably right. Yeah,
probably his mom.
I want Olivia Dukakis just to be a dirty fucking prosecutor blowing.
I want the scene where Mark Harmon whacks it while somebody blows his friend. That's the scene I want.
While Olivia Dukakis blows another guy.
Yeah. They cut that part out of Summer School, you know what I mean? I didn't get to see. You don't see that on NCIS very rarely. Is that the one he's on? I don't fucking know. NCIS.
Yeah. He's tugging while he's throwing a ball into the ocean for a dog.
Shit. 2006 is an appeal. The Delaware court holds that the death penalty sentence based on a non-unanimous finding violates the U.S. Supreme Court ruling from 2002 and said a new death penalty sentencing hearing would be difficult, the prosecutor said, because two key witnesses, his brothers, did so in exchange for plea agreements, and this time the prosecutors would have no leverage over the men. They wouldn't have to testify again.
Okay.
So they announced that they will not seek the death penalty for Tom, and instead he will be life in prison without parole.
At least there's that.
Yep, the Fahey family said they supported the state's decision to seek that as well. Mm-hmm. They said, when Anne Marie was murdered, we maintained that the most important thing for us was that her murderer would be convicted and sent to prison. We are satisfied.
Okay,
What a healthy attitude. 2011 at 12:34 p.m. on a day at the James T. Vaughn Correctional Center, Tom is found unresponsive in his cell and is found to be dead of natural causes at 61.
Heart attack, probably, huh?
Probably.
Yeah.
We'll give the family the last word here, the Fahey family. Mm-hmm. Tom Capano's death does not change the fact that Anne Marie was taken from us far too soon. Sadly, nothing will ever bring her back to the family and to those of us who knew her and deeply admired her. She was one of the loveliest, kindest persons I've ever had the privilege of serving with. We miss her still and will never forget her. My thoughts and prayers are with her and her family during this difficult time. That is the office of the prosecutors there. So there you go. That is Wilmington, Delaware, and one fucking hell of a weird case. That guy's a dick. Yeah.
He got the death penalty anyway, because if they had given him the death penalty, they wouldn't have murdered him by now anyway. You know what I mean?
Probably not. Maybe, So either way, he died.
He died. He's dead.
We'll take
61,
it. Who gives a shit?
So young.
Yeah. There you go. He doesn't get as much attention dying that way. That's all.
No, that's gross.
So good for him. He's fucking dead. If you like the episode and are happy he's dead, Tell us about it. Get on whatever app you're listening on.
Yeah.
Give us 5 stars. It helps so much. Tell us what your favorite flavor of jelly is on your peanut butter jelly sandwich. Strawberry, grape?
Tell us your preference of
boysenberry?
your spouse's best friend that you want to sleep with.
Would you rather they came in with no pants on or just dick hanging out the zipper? Which one?
Nude
or
clothed. Just type those words.
Follow us on social media.
Yeah.
We are at Small Town Murder on Instagram, and we're on Facebook there at Small Town Pod and all those, and Twitter and everything else. So get on there. ShutUpAndGiveMeMurder.com is where you get everything, including tickets. 420 virtual live show is coming. It's Thursday,
so close,
or not Thursday. It's Saturday, April 20th. It'll be available for 2 weeks after that, just like a live show.
Great.
We're right in your living room. Come and join us. We're so fucking excited for that.
Can't
Get
wait.
your tickets right now and come hang out with us for that. And the live shows, they're selling out very fast, so get in there right now. Patreon.com/Crime in Sports is where you get all the bonus material. And Crime in Sports is the name of our other show. That's why the Patreon is that. People have gone, am I on the right Patreon? Yes, you are. So check that out. You get anybody $5 a month or above. You get hundreds of back episodes of bonus stuff we've never released to the public. And, of course, new ones every other week. One Crime in Sports, one Small Town Murder. You get it all. This week, Crime in Sports, in-ring boxer deaths, people beaten to death in front of an audience. That's horrible.
My God.
Then for Small Town Murder, the guy they called the East Coast Charles Manson, Mel Lyman.
Yeah.
Mel Lyman and his cult. It sounds like a 50s group. Mel Lyman and his crooners or something, but... Mel Lyman cult we'll talk about and all the weird shit that went on there. That is patreon.com/crime and sports. And you get a shout out at the end of the show, which is when? Right now. Fucking now. Jimmie, hit me with those names like a limp dick in the face. Let's do it.
This week's executive producers are Bobby Evil Bobby, Borsich.
Wow.
Evil Bobby. All right. Margaret Spuchepka.
They're coming
Madeline
hard
Herman,
with the names this week.
Kyle Norweg, Pat McGroin, also I imagine their uncle and aunt rub and tug.
Yes, definitely.
Jillian Fryer, maybe Gillian. It's Jillian, right? It's got to be Jillian. I don't know.
More than likely, but you never know.
Right. Isaac Bachevitz, singer. Dr. Reverend Alex Rieger, Private Eye. Mel Saddam. What is it?
Alex Rieger is Judd Hirsch on Taxi.
Right.
Yeah.
Liz Vasquez, Randy Ironwood. Happy birthday. Tiffany's husband, Drew. It's her mouth's favorite dick. Happy birthday.
Well, then. Terrific.
Last year I told her she could do better. This year I think she did.
I would
Rebecca
say so.
Sorensen, Janice Hill, Martha Gilreath. Maybe it's Gilreath. Martha
Golden Gilreath is in the award?
Yes. I think that. I'm not sure. Maybe.
Carl Dodson's mom is...
It might be a reference. Raul Varick from Club Platinum. What's Club Platinum? What is that? That's something.
Beats the shit out of me.
That's a reference to something.
That's like a
I
strip
think.
club, right?
Unless Raul Varick just loves their business and they want
Atlanta
us to
strip
know.
club?
It's got to be.
I assume Gold Club. This one, something like that.
Yeah. Kane Porter, Keeney. Maybe Kenny. No last name. Summer with no last name. Sage Marie. Gabrielle Prohl. I think that's Ricky's kid. Emily Baca. He was great. That guy was awesome.
He was a great player.
Certainly went away so fast with zero. He's not a Hall of Famer. He's so fun to. So good.
He was
though.
good.
Yeah. Rams and
teams.
All right. Ashley Wyckoff, Scott Newton, Stephanie Crockett, Kelsey Gibson took a look. Tracy Daly, Maggie Stillman, Liz Cortez, maybe. All right. Chris Clayton, Tawny Martha, Peggy Shaw, Michael Ambrosi, Ashley McLaughlin, Michael Garcia, Emily with no last name, Nicholas Krupa, Sarah Nielsen, Brittany Green, Tyler Blevins, Scylla York, maybe Chilla York, Heidi Harlow, Jean Bechtel, Rhiannon Montgomery, Susan Uragodi. Corbin Smith, Steve Rowland, Louise Smith, Jen, hi, Sydney Johnson. Hi, Sydney. All right.
Hi,
Amanda
Sydney.
Johnson, also Amanda. So there's Jen and Amanda Johnson. Gia Di Maria, Corinne with no last name, Mary Jo Bullock, Allie Cat, Steve with no last name, Lauren Bredemeyer, Christine Fitzgerald, Kate Shook, Austin David Beatty, Danielle Carter, Sandy with no last name, Erica Cruz, Noah with no last name, Kim Amodio, Katrina with no last name, Jennifer Keogh, Landy Berg, Land. All right. Holly Chai, or Chi, Laren Martin, Hannah Lindert, Mike Oxlong, Susan Collins, Morgan McLean, Melinda Green, Karen Scrontz, David Bizat, Samara Adams, Samara Adams, Shane Russell, Evan Cartwright, Julie Walsh, Big D, Katrina, Katarina, Rush, Robert Beischer, Janelle Hamilton, Joshua Jeff Coate, Mark Matheson, David Bumgartner, Kiki Morell, Samantha Kane, Chief Gucci, Hannah Holmberg, Kim Myers, Vixen, Danny Rye. Could be the abbreviation for the entire state of Rhode Island. Masquerade, Devin Debosi, Carol with no last name, Bridget K, Andrew Langenkamp, Lori Walsh, Lisa Radley, Nina Finger, oh boy, Amber with no last name, Joe Winiger. Waniger, Emmasaurus, Larissa, Matt Matei, Angela Newman, Rhonda Fendel, Doso, with no last name, Amanda Z, Sean Sadler, Mary Dalton Zakaruski, Beth Brown, Jenna Romaine, like the lettuce, Terrence Reeves, with no last, oh, that is the last name, Kristen Barnart, what is this one, Jason Turley, Jennifer Chance, Sabrina Menke, Shannon Kulik, Dana Crowder, Kristen, nope, that's Christy Corcoran, Joe Von Kennel, that's a cool name. Chris Carroll, Matt Miller, Kiva Stahl, Jesse Buckley, Gregory Berry, Tyler with no last name, Anna Bagley, Aiden Connor, Smart Plays, Joshua Rios, Leslie Reynolds, Maria Shell Filardo, Derek and Wendy McLean, Meg B, Samantha, Keegan, Brian Brown, Jennifer M, Deborah Sita, Jen Brooks, A. Barber, Ann Peterson, and all of our patrons. You're amazing.
Thank you so much, everybody, you crazy, wonderful, lunatic bastards. We love you more than we could tell you about it. You want to follow us on social media, very easy to do that. Head to the drop-down menu on the Shut Up and Give Me Murder. All the links are there. Come hang out with us. Do some stuff and tell your friends about this shit.
Tell everybody.
Tell everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
It takes one guy out there to say, who's that Kyle who thinks he can just get on a microphone on a podcast and start publicizing this?
From iHeart Podcasts and Tenderfoot TV comes a new true crime podcast, Crook County.
I got recruited into the mob when I was 17 years old.
Meet Kenny, an enforcer for the legendary Chicago outfit.
And that was my mission, to snuff the life out of this guy.
He lived a secret double life as a firefighter-paramedic for the Chicago Fire Department.
I had a wife and I had 2 children. Nobody knew anything.
People are dying. Is he doing this every night?
Torn between 2 worlds.
I'm covering up murders that these cops are doing.
He was a freaking crazy man.
We don't know who he is, really.
He is my father, and I had no idea about any of this until now. Welcome to Crook County. Available now. Listen for free on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.